Welcome to Ginger Prime. Today we're playing Final Fantasy XIV. We've got hopefully the show lined up for you guys today. If you're new here, welcome. Hit that subscribe button. It's absolutely free to do so. Be sure to hit that like button and share the stream out. Yeah, that actually hitting the like button helps share the stream out and helps, I guess, with its rankings here on YouTube. Now, Chris is going to be joining me live here in just a few minutes, and along those lines, we're going to be co-streaming. We're going to be hanging out in chat. We're going to be playing. We'll open Party Finder up, so if you guys are on the Aether data center, you can join us while we run and just level Chris up and also work on my relic. I was live a little bit yesterday reacting, or at least discussing, all the latest Asmongold news, especially as it relates to Final Fantasy XIV, just crushing it in terms of the metrics. Now, right now, Chris is crushing it over on Twitch, and I've pinned in the comments here on the stream, as well as the top link in the description, if you want to go give him a follow on the Work to Game Twitch channel, which we both share. I'm going to unmute the page so that way we can start to kind of listen into what he's talking about. It's been like historic for us over there today on Twitch with 1.2 thousand people watching live. At least at the time of this going live, it fluctuates. It's Twitch, that's what it does. But thanks guys for joining in. I'm going to listen in. He does not know I'm listening in to him at this moment. He's planning on playing around 11, so while I listen, I'm going to be doing some stuff, and I'll end up muting him if you guys have any questions. So feel free to sound off in chat with any comments, questions, concerns that you guys have. We can talk about pretty much anything that you want to talk about today. And then, yeah, thanks for being here, guys. I really appreciate you coming in and hanging out with me today. If you're watching this as a part of an archive live, I don't have a streaming schedule. Note that I will stream occasionally this Friday the 9th. If you're watching this in 2021, July the 9th, we've got the live letter that we're going to be covering here, so be sure to hit that subscribe button. Chat is subscriber only. That is a free thing to do, as opposed to it's kind of like the Twitch follow over here on YouTube. So if you want to weigh in, be sure to do so, and I appreciate you for being here. And Luke is the first chatter of today morning. Got your Final Fantasy XIV a house again over the weekend. Having lost it, that must have really sucked, but that's impressive, dude. Congratulations on getting that house, Luke. All right, I'm going to unmute Chris. Let me just kind of structure some of this layout a little bit different here, so that way I can see everything going on. I think he's filming a video.
On different dailies during BFA. Does it break all those things? Yes. And so if they had said, we've reevaluated, and as the game has gotten larger, and as shard technology has offered pros and cons, and bots have been able to take advantage of it, as we've moved to where we're trying to allow multi-tapping on nodes, and multi-boxers simply responded by now they 10-box, so effectively multi-nodes are just benefiting them. It's not actually allowing them to share the nodes with other players as multi.
So what he's talking about, for anybody who is just kind of curious as to what we just jumped into, he's talking about multi-boxers within the World of Warcraft, because what happened was with Shadowlands, Blizzard banned the concept of multi-boxing, and computers nowadays can actually run multiple instances of the same client. So people were pressing one key and it's sending it to multiple different instances of the game. It's a little bit different from botting, and so that's essentially what he's talking about. So Blizzard literally just went and tune that down. Now, Suzaki, and forgive me if I'm butchering your name, how's your morning going today? It's going really well. Took the kids to the park, just got back a little bit ago. So that was always is an adventure to go and play with the kids at the park. We played Billy Goat's Gruff. I don't know if anybody's ever heard of that story, but it's about trolls that live under the bridge, and then the Billy Goats try to pass over the bridge. And anyway, it ends up being basically just tag and chase and what have you. So if you guys are new here, welcome to the channel again. I'd love it if you also go give a follow over on Twitch. It's pretty insane right now. I haven't seen these numbers on our Twitch page. I think really outside of an event, outside of a major event like FanFest and things like that. So, all right, yeah. I'm gonna tune Chris back in, and we'll catch up on what he's saying. He should be joining me here live in the chat room here in just a few minutes. So let me go ahead and
we have to stop the RMT. We don't want people selling gold. What the heck? That doesn't do the thing you want it to do. It doesn't stop RMT, but it does really hurt Mythic World First Raiders. Nope, we're doing one boss per week. We're doing one boss per week. Because we have to stop RMT, guys. We have to stop RMT. And so, it's the way they responded, the way they communicated. It's their game. If they don't want people multi-boxing, that's fine. But own it.
Let's go get some adventures.
Don't say, hey, I didn't invite you to my birthday party. Oh, really? I saw you invited a lot of people. I saw you invited a lot of people. Yeah, I did. I couldn't invite you though because this week Ford tweeted out that they wanted electric cars to not look like electric cars, and that's why I couldn't invite you to my birthday party. What? And so, like, my issue was that the reasoning they gave is not a good reason. And so if that's your reason...
Sometimes when Chris steps into analogy zone, man, it cracks me up. Like, I never know where he's going with it 100 times out of 10.
If you say, hey, I think I want to see a change, so I'm going to make this change and hope to see a result. I'm going to make this ban. I'm going to ban this. We know it's going to affect players who were well-intentioned and not doing anything wrong, and then we're going to get botters better. Okay, then we're going to wait 60 days, 90 days, 120 days. And when you notice that it doesn't actually get rid of any bots, and if anything, it actually benefits bots, because now players that don't like mining but were willing to do it because they could mine 10 nodes at a time aren't doing it anymore, it benefits bots, then you should undo the change. Because you had good people and bad people that were affected by the ban, and the bad people just found another way. And so the only people long-term affected were the good people. So undo it and try something different. Undo it and try something different. That's ridiculous. All right, let's jump into this. So it's not that I think they need to have...
All right, he's going to react to a video. We'll just let him do that now. That was just interesting. Always interesting. Let me make sure. I'm going to try to keep Twitch chat up here as well. Can I do both? Can I literally do both? Oh my gosh, almost. Almost. All right, I got an idea. I'll pop it out. Pop. Perfect. Now if I do this, perfect. And then if I do that, oh heck yeah, this is called winning. I got it all going. Hey Trevor, how you doing? We're hanging out, playing. I'm going to be doing some Relic stuff here, and Chris I think will join me when he's doing a reaction to Lynx's video why he quit Mythic rating and came back to Final Fantasy XIV. So that's kind of the plan there. There is no stopping RMT unless you remove the ability to trade, sell, and play together. Dude, bring back Fluffy. 100%, dude. Like, absolutely. It's been, like, even before, like, people were willing to sell, like Blizzard was willing to sell tokens. People were like, they called them eBay characters, eBay hunters, eBay whatever, because even like in old school stuff, there's always going to be a demand. There's always a demand for it. And the problem we have in gaming culture right now is we really haven't found that right balance that makes the most sense as to what is ultimately the right way to handle the economy. Because like you literally say, okay, you should play the game. You need to you have that experience, right, that you should play. Who wants to just buy their way through games? Apparently people do. Apparently people just want to buy their way to victory, which I think obviously cheapens it, right? I think most gamers would agree. But, the counter argument is that, well, like, why are they willing to pay that money? What does that get for them? What is that joy that they have? And so what we've seen is that in some cases, the game has either limited the player economy. One of the reasons the player economy is great is it gives everything value to do, because anything that makes you money has that progression towards it because of a player-driven economy. You get your gear, you get your progression through the economy. Let's see here. I know you know. Drova is saying that over on Twitch. All right. I don't know if he's listening over here, so either way. Lennox says, all games exist within a bubble. WoW more than the most because of a lot of their players just don't play other games. Paul says, how's things, man? Just wondering if there's a way to set chat on your hotbar as you're on console. Well, yeah, you press the select button, you go right to your chat window. Right there. So you press select, you actually press left on the D-pad. You can even change your filter. So that's how you do it. You just press the select button, you get this little arrow, and then you can even press, like in my case it would be the X button, but in your case probably the Y or the triangle to bring up kind of the full chat if you ever were like, what do they say? Let me scroll. Obviously it's not as efficient in terms of it, but that's how you do it, Paul. All right, let's go to Ilmag. I'm just buying up ventures because I've used them all. But in case of 14, I saw a Zeppela video. Like, that's the reason, kind of the title. I figured I might make a video about it. I was just like, yeah, generally curious as to see what people say. But I don't think Final Fantasy XIV is at a bubble. I think it's actually going to have a very unique advantage in the market, more so than anybody else. More so than WoW. Like, one of the things that Final Fantasy already has going for it, and WoW is slowly starting to introduce, but it's like you're talking about like being late to the party. Oh, I don't want to. I just grabbed a repeatable quest. I didn't need you. I wanted this. All right. Do they have ventures for me? Then they not sell ventures? Okay, good to know. All right. I don't want this. Get out my log. What's the hardest job on controller? Honestly, like right now, I would say just the first job that popped in my head is Paladin, because from a mobility perspective, it becomes a little bit uncomfortable, and that's just how it's functioning. I'm gonna put myself in a queue. All right, let's see how. Got a couple of these things to run. Boom. All right. Well, we're in queue for that, which is not long. What's the queue on my Dark Knight? Because I'm curious about that progress. Nine minutes? Yeah. Nope. I'll take the speed. Take the speed. Zoila, Paladin following it up. Absolutely. Like, it's just because of how it's structured. If they made a couple of changes, I think Paladin would feel really good on controller. Summoner, I would have originally said Summoner, but I put a lot of time into Summoner, and I got that working, and ended up being really nice. Yeah, Final Fantasy XIV is the #1 RPG MMO, Phantom. And beyond that, and beyond its spot, it's only going to get bigger. So it's not necessarily in a bubble. Like, this isn't just because of Asmon. This isn't because of any, like, Con Carnage was streaming. This isn't because of any one-size streamer. This is literally, like, just how it continues to do well. And when it's not even because WoW is failing. But Final Fantasy XIV has so many aces in its pocket that it has yet to even play. Let alone do we have the expansion this year. Let alone do we have that. But essentially, like, it's still not running on GeForce Now. It's still not on Stadia. It's still not on Xbox. And no other MMO right now is positioned for consoles than any other in the industry. And so, at some point, if those platforms become available, you have more accessibility than ever before. It's literally going to just continue to grow. Now, let's say obviously the big streamers, they come in, they play, they get they get excited, they have the views, they have their fun, they go away. The tide has been raised, like, and it continues to go up. What's up, Ryan? How you doing, dude? Hey, Linux. It's a little something you do with WoW. It has a little something to do. I don't think. Yeah, I think that's just one factor of it. I don't think it's the total story. WoW has been on this trajectory for a long time. And the thing is that the question that people are asking themselves seriously is, will it pull itself out of its nosedive? Beastly, what's up, dude? It's like, can WoW pull itself out of a nosedive? I don't think it can. I think they're just going to kind of try to milk it for as much money as they can, while maybe they work on WoW 2 or something like that. I think that's something that would be really kind of fascinating when all of a sudden you have like a massive technology jump that didn't exist back in 2004 or something like that. Imagine if 14 was not just on Xbox, like, but you think about even just like the streaming platforms like GeForce Now, Luma, Stadia. Michael thinks the short answer for that they're in a bubble is yes. I think not, Michael. I think you're looking at it as a spike, but overall, like, Final Fantasy is going to continue on its trajectory as it's always, like, it's been doing over the last couple years. I'm doing good, Ryan. I'm doing really good, man. Just waiting in queue. Well, welcome, Angel. Welcome to Final Fantasy XIV. 20 days. Are you on the free trial? I hope so. I hope you're on the free trial. Because ultimately, you can play for somebody said like, what are they played like 900 hours just on the free trial alone. Final Fantasy has the content, so you have a backlog, right? So anybody coming in today has a massive amount of content they can play. Morning chili. So they have the content backlog, right? Then you take that into account with the expansion this year, the road to the expansion, lots of hype. The fact that the community, when I say the community, like you guys are watching this stream, like y'all are watching Twitch. What's the last number? Like Chris was at 1,200 earlier. He's at 900. It's growing again. That's insane. Like I haven't seen that kind of number. People are getting like people are engaging in content, which is great. You know, and that tells content creators, like especially some of the bigger ones, that it's a place that they can come and actually make content for, which then puts more content in front of more people, which ultimately gets more people playing the game. My optimism is refreshing. I'm glad I continue to enjoy this game. That said, the bubble will burst. Just don't be surprised. Well, like let's talk about a burst, right? Like if the bubble bursts, what is left? Well, you still have what you already had, right? So it's like this is in and of its spike. I think essentially this spike has made it very clear that it's safe to come over and play this game. There's going to be other games, mind you, but essentially I think Final Fantasy XIV has a lot in its back pocket to play. It hasn't even played its strongest hand. And its strongest hand is the fact that it can literally run on consoles, and it's not everywhere on consoles. Like, if you talk about adding Xbox, boom, 300,000 players right there. Like, easily. Then you add Stadia, you add GeForce Now. Oh, boom, more accessibility. Oh, you don't have a good enough computer to play this game? Not a problem. You got internet. Boom. And it requires internet. Nobody cares. Like, I've never heard anybody be like, oh, how I would never want to stream an MMO. Like, really? Like, you're always online anyway. It's the perfect marriage. It's the perfect marriage. Oh, cool. Okay, Black, are you on Aether? Because, like, I'll open up Party Finder and whatnot, and we'll go from there. Ellen with the subscribe here. Welcome. Guys, if you're not aware, you can always subscribe for free here on YouTube. The YouTube finally added the basically the follower chat feature, so that we'll be using that for the streams going forward. So that way, if you guys are following the channel, like, yeah, there you go. So that's the thing. I wish if I had a magic wand, it would be like just call subscribers follows and call like the join membership thing subscribe. let's just get everybody on the same page. It's so weird doing both. And being like, hey, thanks for that follow. Okay, hey, you're on YouTube. Thanks for that subscribe, which is a follow. You don't think the 14 bubble will burst unless another MMO shows the courage to require a sub fee from their game? That is a really interesting, a thought question. Guys, let's weigh in on what Zoila's saying. Is it the subscription model that is giving 14 kind of an edge, especially when it comes to World of Warcraft, versus something like Lost Ark, like New World, like multiple free-to-play or buy-to-play games on the market? Guild Wars 2, I'm very fond of, but one of the common complaints a lot of people have is there's just these long droughts, where in 14's case, outside of the COVID delays, like outside of the fact that the world pretty much like all synchronously together, struggled. What do you think? I think it does give them an edge, right? And I think the other side of that is that the fact that, like, yes, there is a cash shop for Final Fantasy XIV, but that cash shop's kind of over here in the corner, so it's not always in your face, which I think helps encourage that trust. Because nobody likes feeling like hey, I bought this game and I'm playing this game and I'm constantly being asked for money. Like, it's like somebody called me the other day. Here's my analogy. Somebody is like, hey, why didn't you sign up for our home phone service? Why don't you get a home phone? Like, why would I pay you to have somebody call me at dinner time? Why would I pay you to have somebody call me at dinner time? Like, why would I pay for this game to have somebody sit here and say, hey, have you bought the Lunar Whale mount? Honestly, the players do enough of the evangelization and the sales of it all. Like, just riding around. Like, how do you get that mount? Oh, this is one of the store mounts. Oh, like, There's a cash shop for this game? Well, it turns out, yeah, there is a cash shop for this game. Okay, like it, you know, what can I get from it? Well, you can get this crazy mount. Like, there's also crazy mounts in the game itself. I still think that overall, like, if you wanted to make me that like just a happy gamer, that there would still be an almost an impossible chance for those store mounts just to drop from the game, from a random chest. Like, imagine running Sastasha, right? You open the chest, oh my god, lunar whale mount, you know? I could see the drama, though, if they gave you a need versus greed option on it. Like, people would be like, dude, like, I'm gonna vote kick you, or, you know, try to do something ridiculous, even though they probably couldn't. Black Dragon says, I'm a PvEer on Behemoth and have Heaven's Word and a little Heaven's Word noob on PC compared to y'all. Dude, welcome, man. It does, noob or not, like, we're happy you're here. We're happy you're here. Chili says, the benefit of a sub fee versus free-to-play is that you know how much your monthly income is going to be versus a paid shop where you don't know. I could not agree more. It helps from a budgetary perspective, like especially as an adult. Like, I get that the sub fee definitely is a wall for people, right? There's been times that I haven't been able to afford it. There have been times in my life where it's like, yep, unemployed, got no money coming in, I got plenty of time, no money. All right, you know, can't sub. So it definitely acts as a wall in some cases, but at the end of the day, from just an adult budgetary perspective, it's like, yeah, that's what I'm paying for. Trevor says, I must say that even with my low viewer count, this bubble that has grown has had my Twitch stream had more viewers than normal. Yeah, people are hungry for Final Fantasy content. This is a really good thing. Oh, baby, you're the best. Coffee delivery, guys. Find a good another human being and dedicate your life to them. Like, oh man, and they will randomly bring you coffee. Let's see here. See, Shama. Yes, compared to WoW, the cash shop in 14 is not even. Yeah, it's not even in game. I'm surprised by that, honestly. I'm surprised by that, but it actually, like, it's one of the things that you do feel like I'm just playing the game. I'm just playing the game. And what happens is that level of trust that we have given to the developers, that we have given to this game, that Yoshi P has, I would say, has earned, because they had to re-earn that trust. That's what he talked about specifically. But that level of trust being reestablished, like, has us, everybody's fine with supporting it. Like, oh, FanFest mount, well, I can't go. Like, it actually was cheaper for me to get the whale mount than I've ever spent on a FanFest before. So it's like, yeah, of course I'm going to get a whale mount. Why not? Yeah, I'm supporting the team. I want to help out. I want Final Fantasy to grow. I want it to be great. I want more people to play it. Like, yes. Psycho, what's up, dude? I love seeing all the green name tags in chat. Thank you to Luke, and thanks, Psycho. You guys are the best. Everybody here is awesome, by the way. I don't want to just signal out members, but yeah, it does look good. See here. Zoela says, I don't have a problem with cash shops as long as it's not the only source of revenue. Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I don't know what this. I don't foresee a MMO RPG launching that's just sub only. I think you're going to see sub and cash shop, and then that's just where that balance comes in. You know, that's just where that balance comes in. Shog says, still post ARR stuff. Yeah, that post ARR, like, but congratulations on making it this far. Michael says, don't be fooled by the cash shops concept. If you can't earn it in-game, then you're made a victim of FOMO. And FOMO sucks. I honestly would, if you gave me a magic wand, I would try to remove the FOMO out of games. Like, dailies are a FOMO. I do not like dailies in MMOs. I don't. I think that essentially what you do is you allow somebody, you create markets for players, right? You create the ability for players to go and define that value. But it's a thing that works. Here's a theory I've had for a while about kind of the concept of FOMO. Here's a theory I've had for a while. I think one of the things that, and people say like, oh yeah, well, you know, WoW introduced the dailies, they released the cap, like they've done all these things, they've learned these lessons, they've done good, they've done bad, they failed, and etc. I don't know. I think essentially what we're looking at is the concept of dopamine as a drug. And at first, the dailies and all that stuff feel good, right? Like, oh yeah, logged in, I'm having fun, I'm loving it. And then eventually the dailies turn into chores. Whoa! Bring back Fluffy Dogs, great name, joining the Tier 3 Bahamut. thank you so much, man. Thanks for joining that membership. Appreciate it. You'll hear some shout outs and videos. I've actually, the last guide I did, I made it with no mid rolls, and I had a basically like a random like tier 3 basically being the sponsor for that. So look forward to hearing maybe your name in an upcoming guide. And no mid rolls. Well, I'm gonna keep playing with it. I'm gonna see what you guys like. If you guys like that, I think it ends up working out. Like I like when I ended up signing up for like YouTube Premium because I just got tired of the ads. But I was like, you know what? Maybe there's something I can do here. So thank you very much. You get some love in chat. Enjoy your emotes. It's like a exclusive club. I tried to change the name. Honestly, I was trying to say like, you know, tier 1 Wyvern, tier 2 Venat, tier 3 or Vishap, tier 3 Bahamut, but then it just won't let me change the names. I don't know why. YouTube's still trying to figure this stuff out, guys. Oh, Michael, no. Like I love Michael, guys. Like Michael definitely, like I love his opinion, and he makes good points. He describes himself as toxic. Honestly, I just see himself as probably like a very honest person in regards to like how they view games. Now, I disagree with Michael on certain things, and but I love talking with him. Like I absolutely love talking with the guy because it's like it's always good to get another perspective, in my opinion. That's just where I fall. Some people get mad at me for that. Some people do not like the fact that I will highlight disagreeing comments, and I'm just like, yeah, I know it's easier to sit there and just try to find people that agree. Yeah, there we go. I can keep tagging, but no, it's like, it's always just, I just really always kind of like to see what people think, especially when we talk about Final Fantasy and it's just in its growth. Because I don't know what the solution is. Like, I've honestly wondered to see, like, what would happen if, like, they add, like, benefits where Amazon Prime and New World, or they add, like, Game Pass to some kind of benefit to Final Fantasy. You know, I can't. Oh yeah, I can't hurt him. Duh. Yeah, invulnerable. All right, let's stack here. We'll just do this for why not. Also, just as a note, as a part of the, if you guys are first here, joining me on the live stream, if you have a question, comment, whatever, and I don't see it, I'm not actively like choosing to like ignore anybody in that regards. And if you guys feel like you want to like, oh, Brian, you didn't see my comment or I had a question, just make sure you hit the tag at work to game so it shows up a little bit easier. Do not ever feel bad about asking more than once. You can just be like, hey, yeah, said this a minute ago and I don't know if you saw it. Like, so just note. Should probably get some kind of UI that says, by the way. By the way. Hey, T-Bone, what's going on? Silky. Old Fallen Crow. I don't have dopamine. Everybody's got dopamine. Your brain releases it. So on the dopamine concept is that I think over time, like it's the same kind of thing. Like, okay, that you get that. Oh, we got that. You get that hit of dopamine, and then your body wants more and more and more and more dopamine, and then eventually it's like, what am I doing? And so instead of having like this natural, like, oh, okay, that was nice, it's literally just like, oh my god, you have to kind of like have that what is that, like where you hit rock bottom, that rock bottom moment where then all of a sudden, and then you're mad about it, Some UI setups for healers, DPS, and quick guides would be great for new players like me. Is there anything specific like you're struggling with in terms of the UI? I do have a UI guide. Michael, that means the world to me, dude. That means the world to me. Like, it is. Oh man, that feels good that you find it refreshing, because that's always been the goal, and it's not been an easy one. And it's like, and some of the things that people say about us, I'm like, okay, like either you don't pay attention or like, and some people just don't like discussion, and that's what we set out to build. That's what we wanted to make. And it's so, honestly, it's so refreshing when you guys, when you give us like, when you weigh in, when you put your thoughts into the comments. Because some people don't. Some people, like, sometimes, like, I'll see somebody be like, dude, I've watched like every one of your videos, and this is the first time I'm commenting because of X, because like I share like a personal story or something like that, and it's like, you know, yeah, I wish YouTube gave us a little bit better insight into that, because I think it's so easy for us to focus in on the negative. It is like, I don't know if anybody here is a YouTuber, but if you are, let me know, because I like to make sure that if you're making content, I like to, you could always share it, you know, especially on Discord. I had a couple people send me some videos to watch the other day. Honestly, it was really exciting. Somebody gave us a shout out. They were not even at 1,000 subs. I totally subbed to them. I was like, yes, make videos, people. Because that's and it might sound crazy, but it's literally what I thought. Like, how can I help Final Fantasy? How can I help it? And I go, I'm just gonna make a crazy ton of videos. Like, I just love the game and the community, and it's like, and I'm like, are people gonna hate me for it? You know, like, and they do. All right. Thank you, Lucky. I missed a comment from Chili. 1 second, Chili. I would be shocked if Amazon Prime doesn't give benefits. If it well, I don't know if it will on day and date, Chili, but I that's got to be in the plan. That's got to be in the plan. The Prime benefits make so much sense. There's going to be a Twitch integration with it for sure. Oh yeah, let me run out of that. Fine. The sub fee demands, so bring back Fluffy Dogs. I love your name, dude. The sub fee demands the content on a regular basis. WoW has observed struggled with recently, and Final Fantasy did what their fans expect. Content is king. Like, if we could just sit here and, like, clap that at people. Content is king. Especially in a theme park MMO. And here's the real catch. I've been talking about this a little bit. I haven't seen a lot of other people talking about it. Thanks, guys, for the 19 likes, by the way. Liking the stream helps share it out. So if you guys feel like it, you can feel free to like it. I've been trying to set some crazy goals. I think I literally had a video hit 10,000 likes, which is insane. It's obviously a guide, because those are the things that live and get enough views to get those kind of likes. But I have been saying, like, if I could get a video, just like a regular, like, coffee chat video, to like 1,000 likes or whatever, I'll do like a full story playthrough before Endwalker. Let's see what Chris is up to. I don't know if he's watching chat, but let's get on that. There we go. The online world can be, and one of the things that I think it kind of is attributed to it, and this is I don't like matchmaking in terms of what it's done to the community side of it, but I love it in terms of what it brings to the value. I don't know the answer, so I'm not sitting here saying, like, this is the one thing to fix them all. 22 minutes later. Oh my god. That's so funny. Lol. Oh, that's so us. There. Live on YouTube, BTW, waiting for Chris to join after his video. Boop. Alright, cool. Hopefully that, like, he gets that memo. If Chris doesn't see this, remind him when he's done. Oh. Boop, boop, boop. It's weird to think of ESO as Microsoft's now, but you're right. It's crazy. And that's the thing. Like, if they add like the Prime or the Premium sub, I don't know if they will, but if they add that as a part of like a Game Pass Ultimate, like that's going to be interesting. More. Like, they want more Game Pass subs. If you think of Game Pass as a theme park, the theme park MMO is going to have to evolve. And Final Fantasy XIV does a good job. Yoshi P's already talked about how the number 14 might not make sense at some point. But let's just be real. Like, Yoshi P didn't make the MMO that he wanted to make. He made the MMO that he needed to make, right? So I still think, I think Final Fantasy fans are going to be So excited. I think that I've maintained this for years. I think something's big coming to the game. I think Endwalker is going to be the start of what we start to see is that something big. And yeah, like I couldn't be more thrilled. I could easily be wrong. I could easily be wrong, but at some point someone's going to clip this thing, because honestly, because I could easily be right too, because I'm not putting a time frame on it. So I mean, that's by definition of like setting up an argument where I look smart. Like, that's it. In the grand scheme of time, Yoshi P and Square Enix made a new MMO. It happened to be when Brian turned 90 years old, and but he was right. So we put a time frame on it. Like that's where it gets to be a little bit of a challenge, right? That's where it gets to be a little bit of a challenge. What's up, Carrie? Thank you, Lukey. Thanks for those likes, guys. I really appreciate it. Yeah, and also, just note, I've seen some weirdness with the stream and and with the content on the channel. Sometimes people say it's like they won't let me ring. They won't let you ring the notification bell because my channel is flagged as a kids channel. Don't know why that. But if you guys are seeing that, just let me know. Send me a Discord, whatever, so that way I can kind of snapshot that and send it over to them. You know, it is what it is. But yeah, so the only reason I say that, sometimes YouTube gets a little bit weird and people will be like, oh yeah, like I didn't watch a live stream and thus it decided to unsubscribe me or unring that bell. And it's like, come on, YouTube, get with the program. Get with the program. Yeah, 8 more voids. We're getting there. I think we're going to do it. Maybe we'll do that today. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Let's see here. All right, I'm going to open up Party Finder. If anybody's on Aether and wants to join in. Put it as that. Recruit. Okay, Party Finder's up. I'm going to head to Gridania. Use a ticket. Yeah, play the trial. Get your money's and benefit worth it. Like, and that way you can end up just jumping in and just crushing. Let's see here. Is he still watching this video?
Gives you a currency once per week, specific to
Looks
every
like
single
it.
bond.
All right, well, we're gonna keep playing. How many people are actually watching them? Heck yeah, guys! Thank y'all for the support over on Twitch. If you guys haven't followed, top link in the description. Appreciate any and all lurking. Really helps us out. Love my hat, by the way. I actually am getting a new hat. I have the Work to Game hat. It's down here. But Rock Masso, he is sending, his wife knitted me a new beanie, and we actually got a P.O. box. So I was like, I can now, you know, but yeah. So he's they're sending me a new beanie. So I'm excited to check that out. But Julie made this one for me. Free hat, free hat, free hat. It's only taken me 5 years of content creation. Here's my 5-year plan to free hat. I'd love to send me a llama hat. We got him here. Okay. Let me where's that address? Boom. If you want, it's a real llama. Yeah, no, please do not mail me things that require love, care, and food. I've got 5 kids, a dog, and a wife whose love language is quality time. And I love the crap out of all of them. But I don't need another responsibility. It's a real llama that's going to sit on the top of my head. 100%. We just got a new sub, guys. Welcome, Cheese Rice. Thanks for hitting the subscribe button. Hopefully you enjoy the content here on the channel. Oh, yeah. What's under the hat? Oh, no, it's not another kid. It's just a balding man. But it's also really cold in the room, so it feels like my beanies always feel real nice. I like to keep it nice and cold. Let's see here. Let's turn these things in. Get them seals. I keep obviously like, it's like, oh, this guy's in his 30s. He might be balding. Let's just send him balding advertisements. Damn it, you algorithms. Yeah, no kids under the hats yet. I did, you know, I did let Julie know that, like, if she did come to me and said that she wanted to have a 6th kid, then I'd say yes. But right now, I think we're perfectly happy with the size family that we have. Let's grab some ventures. And he says, after completing MSQ for ARR, got loads of blue quests to do. Best to do them first and then continue the MSQ through patches. Yep, absolutely. After you reach a certain age, it's funeral insurance. So count your blessings. Oh my god. Yeah, it's like there's like the different ages in life. Like, all right, you know, okay, we're all having fun, free time. All right, all of a sudden people start getting married. Okay, wedding time. All right, people having babies. All right, we'll never see you again, at least for another, you know, like 15 years. See you in 15, and then it's like, yeah, kids are growing, and now it's party time again. All right, new card. Perfect. Excellent. Party Finder is still up in case anybody wants to join. We're just doing some runs. You'll reach a point in the MSQ where you'll get gated behind some plus sign quests. In terms of MSQ though, like if you're starting out from scratch, you'll never hit an XP wall. You'll literally just be good to go. But when you're current, so when the new expansion comes out, there will be times where you want to make sure you're getting enough experience. Otherwise, you will hit a wall. Could be a gear wall, could be a whatever wall. And thanks guys for the 44 likes. We're just climbing up there today. And if you guys are new here and just checking out the channel, live streams going forward will be subscriber only. That is essentially follower. That's the free follow that everybody has access to. So if you haven't yet hit subscribe, just like Wolfgang did, I'd love it if you hit subscribe. You can always check that don't show me notifications and things like that. But we'll be doing the live letter this Friday. And then on Friday, you know, if you guys want to chat, ask questions, things like that, that's... And the reason behind it, like, hopefully it seems to make sense. Obviously, like, as the channels have grown, that brings in a wide range of people. And if you're going to yell at me and call me an idiot, at least, you know, I don't know, pad that subscribe number. The problem is that you cannot leave that here without doing the unlock quests. Patriarch, you play games like my wife plays games. She gets so frustrated when I'm just like, time to go, let's go. I'll come back and do it. I like coming back, right? Like, that's my model. It's not the clear zone, move next, clear zone, move next. It's like, you know, do. Play the same way with Mario. Like, I love 100%ing Mario games, but it's play the game, beat the game, and then, like, go back and do all the cool stuff. Boop, 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 boop. Speaking of which, I need to go in 100% Odyssey. Love that game. I'm a big Mario fan. All right. Nobody's joined, so you know what that means. Time to queue. So let's see here. Check my poems. Currencies. Okay, pulling that up. Generally, if you're level 2 where you should have the new quest. But okay, yeah, just chatting itself. Summoner is a great choice, guys. Especially, we don't know this, so don't like, this isn't 100%. But let's say they split Summoner and Scholar in Endwalker. If you get a Summoner or your Scholar level now, you get 2 for the price of 1. 2 for the 1. Now, they might not split it. It could end up being too difficult in terms of its game design. Alright, it is what it is. But, yeah. You're currently a Black Mage. I'm used to range DPS and WoW. What other classes should I max after Black Mage? So, I would recommend Summoner Scholar. Red Mage if you really like that caster. Shifting also just as a way to kind of protect yourself if they make changes you don't like to Black Mage, which Yoshi P's main, the game director, producer, his main is Black Mage. I think you're safe. But at the end of the day, just note that you will, like if you love casters, Summoner is great. It'll actually get you a Scholar. You'll have another role. And honestly, I would say the best way to play the game, if you're loving it, is to have at least kind of the 3 main roles. So that way you have flexibility when it comes to just playing with your friends and as you make friends in the game. Because then at some point you could be like, oh, I can come as a tank. Oh, maybe I'm not the best tank. Who cares? You know, like, but because you're playing with your friends. Or like, you know, and then you can end up experiencing kind of a little bit more of the game has to offer. So that's kind of how I end up usually advising it and making those recommendations. Welcome. Alright, let's see where Chris is at. Is he still reacting? He's still reacting! Alright, fun times. Sub for WoW has gone. What does that mean, Lee? We're on the Aether data center. So it's like if you ever want the server, as long as the bot's working. Let's see if that bot's doing its job. They're still trying to figure out this YouTube streaming, by the way. All right, let's try this out. Streamlabs dash, yeah. Yeah, Sargatana specifically. Let me restart the bot. Cloud bot. Turn off. Turn on. Okay, now that it restarted, let's see if the command decides to work. Sargatana's bros, what's going on, Phonics? Why does this thing suck? There we go. There we go. Streamlabs pulling a clutch move. Pulling a clutch move. Finally deciding to work. Why did DK automatically translate to Death Knight? It's because you still got a little bit of that WoW. That WoW still like holding on to you. Never whispering in your ear. Never gonna let you go. War is pretty brain dead. I did not like War. I did not enjoy the changes. It didn't feel like it got the evolution that everything else got. It was kind of like, yeah, War felt. I ended up like it's been a fun journey as expansion over expansion has popped. I played literally Paladin to start as my main tank, White Mage, as my main healer. Black Mage was my main, Thaumaturge, Black Mage eventually. In Rock's Couch, guys. Sub to Rock's Couch, guys. If you're not following the man, the legend, he just started his YouTube channel. I'm so proud of him. I'm not really getting choked up by something got stuck in my throat, but I'm so proud of you. So proud. But be sure to go and give him a follow, guys. Awesome dude, just fantastic guy. His Rock's Couch, the wife is sending me the beanie, which I'm really thrilled about. Thumbs up. Speaking of thumbs up, let's see here. It is. Well, we're using the full 6 minutes of this 5-minute queue. The other classes kind of don't give you that want factor. Like man, in Heaven's Word I did Dark Knight. In Stormblood I did Warrior. And here I'll probably be just doing Gunbreaker, but I'm doing a little bit more Dark Knight because I'm closest to the achievements. Like when I go look at like my achievements list here, check this out. I just put them under my watch list. Like honestly, like I made a decent amount of progress on some of these things, right? And so it's like Warrior. I don't have Gunbreaker listed in here, but I was like, honestly, I'm not far away. Chili said, looks like I'm already subbed. Nice. But yeah, so I'm just like, well, let me just knock out, yeah, someone's got to do it. Dark Knight gets me the Dark Knight mount there. So I'm over 50%. And then it's like, okay, let me go, do Warrior, do Paladin. I wish they'd had healers. Let's just put it out there. Yoshi P. I know he said he's not going to do it. Because then it's like, oh, then we'll have to add a mount for each of the jobs. Yeah, do it. We need more subs, guys. Freaking bring on the WoW refugees and any refugees. Let's get 10 million, 20 million, 30 million active subs, and then everybody gets a mount. How cool would that be? Well, applicants. Let's see here. Let's go do some cleaning of the inventory. It's what everybody tunes in for. Inventory management time. Yeah, and the only difference between War is that like they're the ones with the conal AoE versus anybody else who does not have the conal AoE. All right, selling 9 items. All right, can we get rid of? All right, we got Bojin Barding. Okay, Boopadoo, hard mudstone. Coming in hard. Silver sand. Always be selling. Broad beans. Coffee beans, we'll save on that. Flour, peppermint. Not a bad price on the pep. Everyone gets a mount. You get a mount and you get a mount. Everyone, I need you to look under your chairs. I need you to look under your chairs. All right, let's see here.
What's up, man?
Oh, you scared the living crap out of me. I need some kind of connected. So and so is joining the voice chat. Here I am, just like, woo.
It has a noise. It goes, but
I guess maybe
you have it turned off.
Maybe I have it turned off. Well, let me look at my settings.
Yeah, it goes, but every time somebody jumps in.
Voice and video.
Um.
Noise reduction.
So guys, for everybody that hasn't hung out on a Monday, what I like to do is I like to go put experience on all the jobs I never leveled, because before I moved to full-time content creation in January, I played this MMO the way I played a lot of MMOs, where I really only level my main job and I don't touch anything else. And I wanted to get better at knowing, as I watch all these videos and as people talk about the state of other jobs and they announce a change where, like, we put out a video that says, hey, Astra's having this change. I'm largely just reading it because I don't have context. And so I wanted to level all this up. So every Monday we've been putting a ton of experience on other jobs. Let's get some Stream Raiders going.
Yeah.
But it's been great to meet everybody. Thank you guys for coming and hanging out. I saw a lot of people hit follow. Definitely feel free to keep doing that. We'll be here. Sir McLean, thanks for 4 months. Fire Dancer, thanks for 2 months. Fender, thanks for 2 months. Brian, how's your day going?
Dude, it's going great. In fact, I'm still in queue. Let me just bounce out. Do you want to run the Void Arc with me?
What level's Void Arc?
60.
Then yes.
All right, let me do withdraw. What are you got leveling?
I'm gonna come in as a dancer.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I didn't get that. I have it where it should give me notification sound, but it did not.
Oh no, my dancer's in a chicken suit. What happened? I don't have glam for my dancer, so my dancer is in a goofy chicken bottom with no chicken head. Do I aim to get the mount for all 80s? Yeah, but probably during Endwalker. I don't see how I get there beforehand.
You never know with how you've been just like crushing some of these jobs, dude. Chat,
That's
by
true.
the way,
so my
says
plan
hi.
was to have healers, casters, and tanks done, but like, it's been going a lot faster than I expected. The game's very generous with experience. I don't know what's going on with this glamour. I probably have head turned off on this job. That's probably what it is. Let's go see. User macros, shared macros.
There you go, cool.
Play head. Okay. Let's at least complete the suit.
Are you online? I'm not seeing you.
Am I what?
Are you online right now?
Yeah, I've been online.
Why is it showing everybody offline? 1 second.
I don't know. Are you world visiting?
No.
I was afraid with so many people interested that I would have to deal with a long queue. So I hopped on in the middle of my stream today.
Yeah, I saw that like you were up on stream at 1.2 thousand, so 1,200.
There's a few people hanging out.
Yeah, a few, just a bit. Just, hey, what's up, chat? You know, it's like, oh my
Numbers.
gosh.
Yeah, usually we don't get to meet this many faces unless we're reacting to like live letters, which are something that I wish World of Warcraft would do. Which are basically where the devs come out and twice per patch cycle plus several others, they come out and they have these live events where they share where the game's going, where the things are. There's interviews with devs and stuff and so we have these kind of 2 or more hour things. And yeah, so we have like live letters, but then I can't really hang out and talk to chat because we're too busy listening to the live letter.
Yeah.
Or events like FanFest, which is basically BlizzCon.
Exactly.
Which of course we would all prefer to be something that does happen and that we all get to go in person. But you know, I'll never go all 3 in person because Final Fantasy does them every other year, but then we get 3.
Yeah. And just so everybody knows, both here on Twitch and on YouTube, we have the Party Finder up. I'll keep it up for a couple minutes, and then we'll just put ourselves in a queue and go from there. So be sure, if you guys want to join, we're on Aether. You can always use the command server to get more server information about the games we play. But feel free to jump on in to the Party Finder if you want to play with us. And that's what we're kind of doing for a while. And also, thank you, Chili, for the €2. I really appreciate, or pounds, or whatever your currency is, quid. I don't know. You UK people got so many names. Call them buccarinis here.
This is the in-game tool to find a static in 14. It's called Fellowship Finder. It's under your social. And that's your in-game posting board to find all sorts of things.
Yeah.
So you can find guilds. There's a lot. I've been seeing a lot of guilds lately that are for like looking to get WoW player in there. There's people trying to find specifically they want to go run Alex Savage. Somebody wants to talk about art. So it's a whole bunch of things. But you can definitely find statics in here and guilds. It's as a matter of fact, when somebody gets a temporary ban for using Party Finder for the wrong thing, even though we have an other tab, when they get dinged for that and they say, hey, stop using, that's not what Party Finder's for, it's because they're trying to promote Fellowship Finder most of the time.
The chat's Lamb Devil
Or
says,
they're breaking terms of service.
Lamb Devil puts probably the best review I've ever seen written in chat. Also, Asmongold is also the cilantro of streaming. He's really not for everyone's taste, but that's fine. I love cilantro, but I have a friend. I don't know if this makes any bit of a difference, but he's Mexican. And he's like, I hate cilantro. I go, I'm a racist. Yeah. I would assume that, like, I love it. It's like, and it's in all of my Mexican food. And then he's like, no.
I'm gonna get a glass of water real quick.
All right. Yeah, we're not in queue yet. We're just here in Party Finder. All right, picking up Severus. Let's see here. I'll just actually let chat know. Let's see here. PF is up if anyone wants to join in. Cool. The Mr. GM2. And then also chat talking about how, Preach. Yeah, Preach. I didn't know about Preach. Chris introduced me to Preach. His content's fantastic. Bellular is somebody I have always watched. I've watched Bellular for his news channel. I watched his WoW videos.
So my wife is how to get that cute koala? I have no idea where the koala came from.
Well, we can look that up.
The it's called the Joey, I think.
The Joey?
Yeah, I think it's called a Joey.
Oh, Ryan. Picked up another one.
My wife has, it's called Koala Joey. And so I have no idea. Guys, thanks for sharing gifted subs and Prime subs. Really appreciate it. So our fridge has this like part that broke in the back of it, and it's causing there to be like condensation that freezes, and then as that condensation freezes, more condensation freezes, and then eventually it thaws out enough that it makes this like popping noise as the ice breaks and then leaks down into like the vegetable drawer. So we ordered the replacement part, and then we picked up coolers from friends like your brother loaned us a cooler. And I went by his house yesterday and picked up a cooler. And so we unloaded my wife unloaded everything into the coolers and is taking her day off to like clean out the fridge and take it apart and replace that part.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's hot today. And so it's like 80 degrees in our kitchen and she's sweaty and the fridge is off. And she's like, sorry, I'm a hot mess. Today is just hot and I'm just trying to get this done on with my day off. She's like, how's your day going? I was like, I'm playing games.
Yeah. And regarding data center visit, I'm hoping that we learn about that on Friday. So the kids should be asleep, and we'll be covering the live letter this Friday, the 9th, guys. And then it's
T-Rex mount. Here's the T-Rex mount.
Do a mount roulette. Mount off. And Patriarch says they're only watching today. They're too hungover to play. Hopefully you had a good 4th. Hopefully everybody's had a good 4th. And somebody, Janice, has kicked off a hype train over on Twitch. Thank you guys so much for those Prime subs. If you don't know, if you have Amazon Prime, you have Bezos money that you can give to any content creator that you like. Does not have to be us. Just make sure you auto-refresh that on whoever you feel is doing something that you like. It's a great way to say thank you, and it's free money. It's a free perk of having Amazon Prime.
T-Rex comes from Eureka. It's our previous relic zone from the last expansion. So think about like the Maw or Argus. It was the one tied to the legendary kind of equivalent from last expansion. And Swarthy, thanks for gifting subs. And so it came from that. Right now we're running Void Arc because Brian needs this progression for one of his relic steps. If you want to progress your relic, you can progress it in zone, right? In your like Maw or Torghast type content.
Yeah.
But if you don't want to do the Maw or Torghast, Final Fantasy said, hey, your equivalent of Stygia and Soul Ash and all that, if you want, we'll tie it to other stuff. And so maybe for one of the particular relics or legendaries, kind of like conduits or like they drop from everywhere.
Yeah.
They said, hey, if you want, imagine if one of your legendaries gave you the option of running time walking. And so you could just go run time walking. And so Brian is on a step where he needs Void Arc.
Yep.
Void Arc is level 60 content, so I can bring any job that's level 60 or higher. And so I have a job that I don't really know how to play, that I want to level, and so I can come join him. And Belgast, Veldridge, and Rag, thank you for sharing Prime. And then Phil with 10 gifted subs.
Thank you, Phil. Thanks, Belgratch.
I have alerts turned off today, as far as sounds go.
Okay.
It'll pop up, but they won't scare people with the noise.
Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for subscribing.
Well, I can work around it, but it's you and me chatting today.
The thing
Brian did change back to Elzen.
I am back to my Elzen roots. I said I've done 2 years. I did 2 years as a run, so I don't regret it. But wait, actually, 1 second.
There's Brian.
1 second. I
Brian
had a
in
cowboy
his
hat.
suit.
My cowboy hat is not currently on my Elzen. I have now a cowboy hat, and that's what I wanted, and I have it.
It's not showing, is it?
No, I did, like, it was on my, I was playing my Dark Knight with it, and I didn't reapply the glamour. Like a fool!
So is this my AoE? Yeah. Okay, Windmill's my AoE, and it's going to combo into Blade Shower.
This is the Void Arc J. It's a level 70 or 60 raid, a 24 man, and yeah, you unlock this as a part of that series. It's got some of the coolest. This actually was my least favorite of the raids, but it's one of the fastest to run. So that's why we're not doing like mock or whatever. But like honestly, I love this series so much. But then this series got crushed in my mind by Ivalice. And so I've been so much enamored by Ivalice, and I'm hoping that today I'll get some time for Zandalore. Well, we will see. We will see. I was like, it's like, yeah, I want to make some videos. I want to, like, I'm like doing all this stuff, and then it's like, you know what? Every time I get started and I try to, break off too much, it's like, just play, just have some fun. It's a day, it's a holiday day.
It's a holiday day.
It's a holiday day-ish.
It was a nice weekend. I got to see you briefly in person, in
I know.
passing.
Literally, like, I was over at my brother's house, and a wild Chris appears out of the garage. I'm like, well, hi. I know you.
Yeah, I drove my wife's car because I brought my dog over, and so I don't. When you pulled in, I don't know that you recognized that I was there.
No, I was like, did they? I was like, do they have somebody like visiting or something? I was like, I don't know.
They do have somebody visiting. I went over there to borrow a cooler and to work out with your brother.
Chain. Yeah, the Murph training that y'all are doing. Yeah.
We did, guys. So from last time that I did Murph training, we did the exact same 1/3 of the reps, unweighted, with the full mile before and after, and we trimmed 25 minutes off our previous time. So we are getting in shape. We are undoing COVID weight. Been big. Okay. So there's like a
for us, Ivalice is, and that's where I think I have just not. Hey, what's up?
Mom needs you right now.
Mom needs me right now. Guys, I'll be right back. Good luck, team.
Is he being serious? Where'd he go? Brian has, for those of you that don't know, I share the channel with Brian, who is a full-time programmer and full-time dad. He has 5 kids. So while his wife is a full-time mom, there's plenty of overlap there that he helps out with. So that is why I handle streams, because when something happens, he just has to take off. He just has to jet. There's no warning. So Brian is somewhere just standing still. There he is. So, oof. So we started this as a place to talk about games in the time we weren't working, and it has grown to the point where you guys support me doing this full time. But Brian has other things going on. There's always something going on in this house. Always. It's chaos. I've never been over there where they haven't apologized for the chaos, which I don't see how it couldn't be chaos. I just don't see that as a way. So I don't really know what my skill priority is here. I tried learning this job, I don't know, like maybe a month ago, and like I haven't read any tooltips today, so I don't really know what I'm doing. But thankfully, like, everything highlights, and I bind everything where like I always open with A, and then Q's always my like cooldown thing that I burn, and W's always my AoE. So I knew that Windmill was my AoE, base level AoE, because that's how I bind every job. So any of you that play like multiple specs in WoW are coming over and you're getting into multiple jobs, or maybe you're just getting into alts for the first time. Maybe the 9.0 to 9.1 gap was the first time that you felt like you should do that. I don't know if I have good 60 gear. I know that I don't need that. So what are my movement keys? I use ESDF, not WASD. Standard step on cooldown. Where did I bind standard step? Fountain. Fountain fell. I don't know. I don't know where I've bound that. Or if I even have it bound. It's possible something's missing from the bar. Because usually when I'm learning a job, like I don't always get to everything. Because I kind of add the abilities one at a time. So I know when I restarted this, I started really simple and we were running low level content. Action bar right here. This one, Fountain fell.
Everybody's alive and fine. Crisis averted.
How many of these do you still have to run?
So this is the number 11, so 7 more of these, and then and I have 5 more Rabs.
I feel like I should have a gap closer. Don't I have a gap closer?
As the
Quickly
answer,
dash
you do.
forward. I do have a gap closer.
Yeah.
Okay. I was like, I feel like I should have many gap closers. I thought it was on charge. I thought, yeah. I have a key binding guide up? Yes, I do. For the, So, I think of standard step as my, like, inner release. Right? Which is, like, my big burst of damage. So when I know I'm going to stay on a target for a bit, that feels like the time to use it. ESDF. Yeah, so when I used to raid in WoW, and I was DPS lead, and so I had to do raid callouts for DPS and help organize them, I had several macro things to like help with callouts, because clear comms is important, so your DPS lead can't always just shout things out to other DPS, and so you need to be able to kind of macro things out, so that there's things said in text when you're calling out various formations. I also, as a hunter lead, as a hunter, I had things where like I might want to cast an ability that hits my focus target instead of my target, and so I had modified versions of some keys that's all they did. They just changed what target it is, and so I had multiples of things. And when you do that, and then you're gonna have your pet up controls, and then because like I'm raiding while eating and stuff, just out of laziness, I have like my consumables bound and all that. You end up with a lot of keybinds, and it frees up an entire left side of keybinds. Don't we have to like run from this? Don't I have to like be on the other side?
Yeah. Yeah, and then if anybody gets like stuck, then other players have to break the the little chains.
Okay.
And then you can't. You got to look to see what buff they have on, because you just want to make sure you're not putting out 0 damage. So magic users cannot attack the vine right now, but it's random what he decides to use that for. So yeah. So if you see the no physical buff, like, so if you're attacking Sawtooth, I don't think you're going to be doing damage. You want to be attacking the vine.
All right. It says I'm doing damage.
Yeah, as long as you're seeing numbers.
You're not seeing numbers. Then now I'm not seeing numbers, but now is when I go hide, right?
Yeah.
Shockwave Stomp is coming. Now I have to be here anyway. So why would I need to do callouts if there's DBM? DBM is not a perfect solution to all things, and DBM is a lot more powerful today than when I made this move. I made this move to ESDF during Burning Crusade. And Burning Crusade did not have the add-on support that we have now. Weak auras and DBM as it exists today was not that good. And back then, like, your raid might be doing different things than what is in a guide on the internet, because you might have a different comp. And if you have a different comp, like, you might have to do different things. I'm a plant.
Then you got planted.
Yeah, I got planted. I'm a tree, guys. Whoa. Oh, now I'm a chicken again. Good.
Now I'm a chicken. I'm a plant. I'm a chicken.
So,
excuse me.
It wasn't. You can't just simply be like, oh, we're just going to use the same comp as Limit, and then we're just going to kill the boss. Like, sometimes your group needs to make adjustments because a particular player can't do a mechanic. Like, and if they can't do it, they can't do it. Like, you can sit there and try to teach them, but at some point, if they're like, oh, well, the Warlock has to be responsible for this one mechanic because they're the best at handling it, and then your Warlock can't do it, then you can't do it. Like, you can't sit there and let, a dozen other people sit there and struggle, or more than a dozen other people struggle because somebody can't clear the content. You got 20 other people that are doing their job, and you've got to just say, okay, well, can you do this other mechanic? Yeah. Or, then we're going to adjust. I'm going to put somebody else in charge.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I don't know when the mechanic is. It's fine. I'll tell you. I will tell you.
And thanks everybody for the 66 likes here on the YouTube stream. That's one awesome way that you actually help share out the stream. So if you're ever hanging out, and you like it, yeah, hit that like button. Or you can hit dislike. Honestly, it doesn't matter. But
you said ESDF is common among in higher end rating. I don't see it very often. I assume it's out there. It's not like I thought I invented something amazing. I just made the move because I wanted more buttons. I also had a mouse with a bunch of buttons. It's why I don't understand controller players, because like I already think standard keyboard layouts don't have enough buttons. I definitely don't want less buttons.
We blasted.
Brian's a controller player.
We blasted past 69. Noise. I am a controller player, and honestly, it's one of the things that I think that we have yet to see the cap for 14. Just the numbers are real up right now, and I think even if they settle down a little bit, which probably will happen at some point, Final Fantasy XIV still has not played its ace in the hole. It is the only MMO built from the ground up that can also just natively work with the console. Xbox, Stadia, GeForce Now, you name it, here whenever that theoretical day comes, when that's possible, like I think essentially no other MMO can just like, oh yeah, we're gonna come to consoles right now, like without a serious investment in work. And I honestly, with Endwalker, with things like that, we're gonna. I don't even think we've hit our theoretical cap yet.
I think.
Go ahead.
We also have. It's exciting because right now we're going into Endwalker, and like Guild Wars is doing the same thing early next year with End of Dragons, where the expansion is acting as a finale to the narrative for a certain point. So if somebody doesn't care about story in MMOs, and they're like, well, I don't know, it's something you have to always keep up on, and to get the most out of it, you just have to... There is something more obtainable about saying, like, there's an end. There's one amount of story. There is one fixed amount of story. Everything pre-Endwalker is currently available, and Endwalker is going to be the finale. So you know that this is like people who only watch the Super Bowl or the World Cup or the World Series. Like, Endwalker is going to be our World Cup. And so if you want, right now, even if you've never cared about story before, you can do the equivalent of learning what the rules to a sport are, where you can just now go and get involved in story because you're going to get to be here for the big payoff, because we know that it's coming in November.
Yeah, 100%.
And so it's made it really, really exciting to play 14 right now, especially because it's coming out of a good expansion into a good expansion, as opposed to WoW is coming out of an expansion that struggled and going into an expansion that's struggling.
Yeah, chat, Patrick dropping some awesome humor. World of Warcraft, End of Days is the next expansion.
I hope so.
That would be so funny.
I think they could use a story reset. I think it'd be really nice for them to say, okay, we built this game and story was a secondary thing to explain the flavor of this, and I probably need to be attacking these on these platforms. And so we built this way.
We built this city.
We kind of wish that we had treated story a little differently. So now we're going to. And so from this point forward, we're going to make a clean break in the story. Like, it's an awesome option to kind of stop having to rewrite everything and say, okay, everything before this was a little weird. We wish we'd done it differently. So I have to stand on this for something?
Yeah.
Pestilence. So I think it's really nice. Because the game's not ending, the story's ending.
Correct. Guys, if you're new here on the channel, by the way, and you subscribed, let me know so I can officially welcome you.
How hard would they have to support a Tabletop Miniatures Chris Metzen campaign to get him to come take part in whatever the next chapter of WoW story would be?
Yeah.
Like, how many pre-orders does Blizzard have to do to get him to come back on board? We'll order all of your miniatures, Chris. All of them. Just come back. I don't know. They have a big library. They do. They have a ton of the stuff in the books, and so it's kind of like Warhammer learning to put some of their Black Library knowledge in the codexes. Like, it's just something that they have to get better at sharing with us in game.
Welcome,
And it's not that
Soren.
they don't have the way. That's why it's so weird that you have this like archaeology in Shadowland. Like,
Yeah.
where is archaeology? That's the perfect place to hide that book knowledge only for the people that want it.
And welcome, Soren. Thanks so much for saying so. Yeah, if I didn't get to officially say hi, there you go.
And Covenant campaigns, right? You have 4 times the narrative. If you're going to gate something, give us truly unique story. You split the story into 4 parts. Fill it up. No, I doubt Chris would come back. I doubt Chris would come back. But Chris is a likable guy.
Got him. Got him. The 6.1 news story is going to be is going to dump us in a new shard without space, rock blessing, and everyone hates us. Have fun. Who knows? Who knows what's going to happen, guys? Like that. Like that's one of the biggest and most exciting.
Maybe we're going
things.
to Azeroth. We're doing it.
We're going to save
6.1.
We're going to go save the World of Warcraft. Yoshi P. Like, all right, guys. Looks like my job is needed elsewhere.
I can't imagine how much the game would change over a 5-year period if Ian left. I don't think it would be as black and white as like, oh, this group of people thinks everything would get better, and this group of people thinks everything would get worse. Like, I think everything would slowly change. I mean, just like if Yoshi P left the 14 team.
Yeah.
Right? Which, like, he's mortal, so while he said it's his life's work and he doesn't ever want to leave, like, he should not be held to that statement for all of time.
Right.
If he works on it for 20 years and leaves, that's not like, well, yeah, because 20 years from now the game's in a bad spot. No, like, you can just want to do something different.
Yeah.
Like, that's okay.
Yeah, you should
People
have
retire.
that freedom.
That happens. Or they say, hey, I've always wanted to, he said he always wanted to work on a Diablo style game, and they're like, hey, I got a chance to go do that, and I can't juggle it and 16 and 14.
Nassar jumping in, just been here for a while, but new to 14, just hit Bard on level 68. Congratulations!
I turned.
Yeah,
Look at this chicken facing away.
You have to turn so much faster on that.
Look
like
at that.
mechanic is like you have to.
This
If you're not
facing the other way,
catches
I'm
me every
frozen.
time. You got to turn like before the 50% mark, otherwise
I was
it's like
turned.
yeah.
I was turned.
The game cheats. That's it. Final Fantasy's done.
Ridiculous.
Redonkulous.
This chicken can no longer be served at Wendy's, which assures you that it's never frozen.
Dude, Wendy's sounds so good.
I was robbed.
And Matt, thanks for hitting that subscribe button, man. Welcome.
But I do think I want that. Oh, I already have that minion. Well, then pass on it. You should auto pass.
Yeah, auto pass. I would love a need greed all like auto roll. Like let's go. One of the things I loved about Warhammer Online was that you could literally say, here's the thing here, I want it to auto roll. Like on certain gears and stuff like that. Scavenge. Unplayable. Such devastation.
Frozen while turned around. Get out of here.
Oh yeah, so Patrick, breaking news, Final Fantasy XIV refugees work to game, making the jump to Guild Wars 2.
Apparently, I have that video on my list to react to with Bellular. We'll get to it this week, but apparently Bellular, I haven't watched the video yet, but apparently Bellular heard that the Final Fantasy XIV Black Chocobo event ruffled some feathers, as it were.
Feather ruffle.
And he saw that it was announced on a Thursday, and he saw that the next day I was playing Guild Wars 2, and referenced like, oh my gosh, like even work to game is not playing 14. Like, see, it really hurt their feelings. Don't get me wrong. It wasn't that I wasn't glad it worked out this way when my feelings were hurt that I was playing Guild Wars 2, but we play Guild Wars 2 every Friday. Every Friday.
Party recruitment is up.
So that was happening regardless.
Let me just check that.
Don't get me wrong. When my feelings were hurt, it was nice to wake up in the morning and go, I have to go to work today, but I don't have to go to Final Fantasy. So that was nice.
switch
No,
this to Void
they have
Art.
not adjusted the list for the promo at all. I don't think they're going to. I think it takes a long time to roll things like that out. One of the things that I wondered was like, were all those people partnered before a certain date? Because a lot of the 14 people that are partners that people that recognized weren't listed. 14, because of the interest in 14, has generated a lot of partnered check marks in 2021.
No, we haven't been added to the promo, and we might not, being that we also spoke about it publicly.
We were partnered the same week as Gerald Hart, right after us, Zumi, Moody Moomba. There were a lot of check marks that went out in the last year. Lama Todd has been partnered less than a year.
And honestly,
did something happen today? We were watching Asmongold's Sistasha clears. I think what initially caused a bunch of people to come hang out. Brian, did you get a chance to watch his stream at all this weekend?
I got to watch a little bit of it, and honestly, I'm quite impressed with how much he's enjoying the game. I haven't I like with the kids and stuff, and with like there's certain streamers like I just can't watch. Like I've talked to Tyler about that. I was like, so Tyler just says like whenever if I'm hanging out on the stream, just let him know. So it was like kids are in the room because it's like a lot of F-bombs going out, a lot of things like that. And it's like no, all right.
I have heard that Asmongold's banner, the snipers and stuff are catching big bans.
Oh yeah, I'm not surprised.
I have heard that. Didn't get a chance to talk about it today. Maybe we'll talk about it tomorrow. We react at the beginning of every stream. So
yeah, we might even talk about it here, like when we do some videos and stuff.
Thav, the Chocobo campaign, the money is a symptom. The money is a symptom. You took the interest away from an entire community and funneled it into 24 names. It wouldn't matter who you put on that list. The money was going to be secondary. The money isn't the issue. Yeah, so a stream sniper is somebody who behaves differently towards a streamer's character because they have the active knowledge of knowing what that character's doing. And so when you see a character in-game and you know they say, hey, we're doing MSQ right now, and you know that MSQ takes you to a quest giver somewhere else, you can go wait on that quest giver, and the streamer will come to you. You know that. And so what people have been doing is they've been sitting on their whales, blocking quest givers and things like that. They've been killing, he pulled a fate and like everything died instantly. And so, some of it's just general interest, people wanting to be where they want to be. Yeah. And when that's good spirited, it's fine. But like when it got to the point where he's having to like turn spell effects and spell sounds all the way down, you can't even see his character. It's too much, man. It's too much.
Well, there have been people who are actively within, and this is the most quiet part of the community, right? Anonymous giving out super 10 gifted subs. Thank you so much. That's insane. Thank you very much. You are amazing. But they're like, and I've talked to some of these people on Twitter, and they're like, Brian, they're just trolling. Like, no, they're legit people who legit want to ruin his experience with Final Fantasy. Because they say they hate him, they don't like him, they don't want him in this game. They say they don't understand what content creation is and how the world is not in the 1990s anymore. And it really frustrates me. It's that, like, he could come in and hate on the game, and guess what? Final Fantasy wins because it gets exposed to more people. Like, exposure and people talking about games is the victory, right? But he's also loving the game. Guess what? Neither Chris and I are shocked by that fact. We're not. That's.
It is shocking me that Rich is skipping story and that Asmon's not. Like, given the two and given what I think of their personalities as, I think that given the two, if you said one of them was going to read the story and the other was like, hey, this isn't really for me, I'm just gonna level really fast. I wonder if I can make it.
Yeah.
I wonder if I can make it 3 more levels before I end stream. I would assume,
yes.
But like Asmon's been reading he's been reading
having back every and forth text
with Yishlada. Yishlada, she likes me.
And she's a cat girl, and yeah. And it's like that's the most shocking thing. We were like, just skip story, just get to the content you want. And he's like reading every quest text, all the stuff, voicing it for the stream, and having a freaking incredible time. The only thing I've heard from that people are disappointed in is that he didn't give Balderon a pirate accent. Like, people are like, oh man, like what? Like that was a missed opportunity.
Balderon.
All right, we're running Void Arc right now, just over and over.
You are, man.
Got 7 more. I have between rounds. I'm opening up Party Finder, so we'll catch up on chat, and then put it in a queue. So if you guys want to jump in with us, parties containing members using limited. Somebody on Blue Mage?
Yeah, somebody's on blue. Only if we get full can we do blue.
Cool. We're rich.
If we get a full 8, we can do blues, but we can't go into party roulette with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's he's been having a lot of fun with it. I don't know.
Myth failed.
It's been totally fine.
I didn't see that yet. I didn't see that yet. But if nothing else, like what you're seeing here is that with Final Fantasy outranking like Fortnite and things like that, what it's communicating is it's communicating that this is a place that you can be. And it's talking to content creators who can feel stuck covering a game to say, guys, you can come over here. It's safe. You can make content because people are actively also hungry for content. Like there is an economy.
Yeah. Speaking of a lot of monetary support, he got 7,000 subscriptions his first day.
Wow. Guys, we appreciate you guys so much.
Square Enix did not pay him to come over, but the community did pay him for doing it. His community or otherwise.
Yeah.
Somebody. He is getting paid to play it. He's getting compensated. And not by Square Enix saying, hey, will you be nice to our game? We'll pay you. Because it is really hard when somebody comes over as part of Square Enix to know, do they really like the game? Because they might. Or do they like the game because like...
They're being paid to like the game, yeah.
Yeah, you're being paid to like the game. But having 200,000 people come in and support you as a crowdsourcing thing,
yeah,
where he owes nothing to the devs of Square Enix
or WoW for that matter. The thing is that, and then also I've seen people like, oh, he's only doing it for the money. No, he's not. But it doesn't like people try to like discount people.
He can play anything for the money. The money's everywhere he goes.
There was a group of people literally trying to recruit him over to Mixer. Like he doesn't need the money, and he actively.
Would you guys say he drives like a 1990s Mustang, and he still lives in the same house as when he started and was living on food stamps?
Yeah. He better not be living on food stamps now, though.
He was living on food stamps, and he was working part time at Sam's Club, and now he drives a 15 or 20-year-old car, and like money isn't the thing.
Yeah.
Money isn't the thing.
Soren joining Tier 1 Wyvern.
He actually got asked a bunch of questions about sponsorships the other day and said, like, I don't really know, man. I'm not the one to ask. There are people that handle that. Like, like he's like, I'm glad to work with Game Fuel. It's cool stuff, and it's not that I don't get say, but like they bring me the final presented version of the deal, and then I say yes or no. Like, it's fine.
Yeah, that must be nice.
So he's like, people are like, man, I wish I could live like you. He goes, you can.
You can.
Like I'm driving a 20-year-old car, living in my parents' house. I think it's still his parents' house, right? Like,
yeah.
And so like living in my parents' house, like, yeah, I get to play more games than back when I was working at Sam's Club.
I just upgraded.
He's like his current lifestyle was possible without like it's like that Office Space thing. Like if I had $1 million, I'd do nothing. It's like, well, I got a cousin. He doesn't have $1 million, and he does nothing right now. Like you don't. Yeah, it doesn't cost that much to live the way he lives.
As far as it goes, like I just upgraded my 20-year-old, it's like 21-year-old vehicle, not 22, I guess, to a 15-year-old vehicle. So moving on up.
My vehicle is from 2005.
Mine's from 2005.
I know he helps take care of his parents. Yeah, and so if his parents were struggling to like make the payments, then I assume what the money has done is that went away. Like I assume that's gone. So like there are definitely aspects of his life, and he did say that when he goes to Wendy's, he used to get the 20-ounce drink, and he gets the 32. So like he's definitely looser with money, but it's not. You would expect somebody at his level to be sitting in a Lamborghini. Like that's what gets flashed on YouTube so many times.
And the other side about it, like people, like some people saying, like his chat, like is toxic, and they say like one of the things that's a part of the social media aspect, it's a downside of it. We're in queue. We're in queue.
Okay. Oh my gosh.
My goodness. One of the downsides about it though is just that the negative is what pops up, is what floats up, is what gets attention, right? And it's just a way of it, right? And it's not to sit here and say that it's excusable, but that's one of the things that I think it's important that I'm so proud of the community within 14, especially over on Twitter, that's saying like this does not represent us for these negative, like people who are actively trying to get him banned from the game. Like they're trying to get him banned and kicked from 14 for whatever reason. Like people were like, oh, he like, you know, he said this like 10 years ago, or like who cares? Like but what you'll see here within like the chat is like the most negative stuff floats to the top, and one of the things that you have to do, and I was talking like it's like, you know, just the fact that like, oh, by the way, Chris, a couple people were like, Yo, we need some mods on Twitch.
Yeah, I know. I'd been
So-
talking to some people about being mods earlier, and like it hadn't been urgent because we'd never had people come in and be disrespectful.
Right.
So
So
I've
we
been live. I got 6 months of it though. Like I was live for all the way through June and never once harassed. And so I know like I talked to some people about that. And
Yeah, we need a. Oh, did they say yes or they were like?
yeah. I just hadn't rolled it out,
Okay.
so I'm doing it.
Not enough time in the day. Not enough budget.
Yeah,
at the end of the month,
I have a 45 to 60 hour work week, and I get to choose what gets done, and that's not everything. And that was one of the things where I was like, I mean, it does need to happen, but like, not right now.
Yeah.
And then today it was like, okay,
Yeah.
maybe now.
Yeah, maybe now.
Which size has nothing to do with it. I streamed some Minecraft the other night, just like a late night bonus stream, and like Twitch autoban was handling it, but if they had been smart enough to work their way around the filter, it would have been a problem.
Yeah.
But like I could barely read chat because I was seeing things on the back end that Automod was grabbing because they were coming in and dropping language that you can't.
Yeah.
But thankfully, like Automod's a thing, so it handled it.
Welcome to the bigger time where you got to get some mods. Yeah.
But that, like I said, that's not a big time thing. Like I hang out in some pretty cozy streams, from people that sit down around like 20 people watching. I watch them all the time.
Yeah.
And they get people that come in and just troll them. So
That's where
usually it's tied to something about their appearance or their attitude or something like that, their lifestyle, something they can't really control in many cases.
Yeah. It's like trying to
So,
make fun of me because I'm a ginger. Like, all right.
The people that
bro.
I'm thinking of when people come in and regularly seem to make fun of them, it's people making fun of you because you're dyslexic.
Oh.
So like it's really distasteful. It's really distasteful.
Oh man, you and I have a different.
Brian's working on his relic. I don't have any
Yeah.
need to do this step for relic.
He's just
I'm
he's
done
just
with
getting
this.
experience for his dancer.
Yeah.
Not much
I
experience.
am grinding
but
dancer
still-
though.
Yeah.
So we're moving along. I don't know that it's great dancer experience.
That's
but it
probably
is
not the
something.
best. Like I think if we switch to like Deep Dungeon or something like that, we would.
Yeah, I think dungeon would be better, but
What we really need to do for the Deep Dungeon is just kind of get that scheduled, and because I'd love to make a 200 push. But like I think when we're talking to Benny, is like that's like 6-7 hours or whatever.
it's
like,
hours and you can't get up and go anywhere.
Right,
Like
it's
it
like-
has to be a day that is dedicated to that.
Right, or we'd have to do it like 2 days dedicated so that it's like
Yeah, because if your kid
You have
comes
to
in
have
and
the
needs
sa-
you,
Oh,
and
yeah.
you walk away, like our run could end.
Oh, 100%. And it's like literally, guys, like you like when Maddie ran up and was like, "Mom needs you." It's like now you know why I don't usually hang out in voice with Chris, like because it's like I'm constantly. That's my life, and I love my life. But yeah, it is not a. Oh, you don't like interruptions? Like you want some chair? If you want chair streams, guys, you're in the right spot.
The alliance rates themselves give okay if they're within 3. So I'm level 63, so I'm within 3.
Yeah.
I probably should have gotten my scholar or summoner scholar up like to 60 last night because I knew there was a chance we were doing this today. And if I grabbed like a leveling roulette yesterday, I would have had a 60, and then I could have been at 60. I did, yeah. So when I was in Asmongold's first stream, so in the opening cutscene, you don't have the ability to use chat at all, like even if you push enter, because I think it's just never been a problem. And like he could barely, like I could barely hear his cutscene because it was the number of friend requests was constant. And he said, he goes, "Hey, just a note to my editors, put a giant black bar right there. So like you're not gonna get your name in his YouTube video. It's not gonna happen." And then as soon as he was in game, he could go /busy, and then it stops all that.
Yeah.
But his opening cutscene was just ridiculous.
Well, and that's where people, just so for your knowledge, Luke, and they'll come into the comment section and they'll be like, "Who's this guy anyway? Like, look at his DPS on this one random ass run." That it's like literally, it's like, "Hey guys, all right, I'm gonna. Oh, a kid fell down, gotta go." Like, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Like, I will drop everything
Belts.
and help. Yeah, belts, baby.
Belts.
Yeah, I drop everything. And that's where.
Oh, this is not
Oh,
better.
Brian, you don't raid Savage. it's not respectful for the other people's time. But for a normal raid and things like that, like, we'll be fine. So that's just where I put the priority in the content. And it's like, you know, like you see, like if Julie was like, Brian, for your birthday, like, you know what? Why don't I take the kids, you know, for a week and you just play video games? Yeah, let's do some. You know, that's something that I can schedule on because no one's gonna need me. You know, the worst case scenario is somebody.
I mean, there's
rings the
people that
doorbell.
make it work. So like that's the other thing.
Yeah.
It's like that is not to say everybody who has kids
Can't do this, right?
Like Brian works his entire workday relatively largely and uninterrupted, and you're heavily involved in your church organization.
Yeah.
And when you go do that stuff, you have evenings during certain times of year where you go one night a week and you go take part in something, and you don't leave that for any reason. You're just there.
Yeah, really.
So like, it's not that you can't come up with time. Like when you're teaching, when you're doing that confirmation stuff, like
yeah,
you're gone. You're away from the house. It's like it's not that you can't raid.
God.
So like one of the things that does get pointed out as a
that,
caveat to that in the comments
Yeah.
is people like, hey, I'm a mother of 4, and like I don't like that implies that I can't be a good parent because I find time to savage raid. It's that you only have so many things, and Brian has other commitments besides high-end prog within 14.
But even those examples, Chris, aren't true because I literally have dropped everything from like teaching and from doing all that stuff because I get called in. So like just to highlight that,
But like when we're at FanFest, you don't. Like when we're
well,
at FanFest,
yeah, I physically can't get on a plane, but I've stepped out and had to do phone calls and do FaceTimes and things like that. You know, so it's like
I'm just saying, like there are people that make that work, and it doesn't make them bad parents.
right. I'm not saying that I'm not,
right.
Yeah,
I'm just stating it because somebody said that the way you stated it before, without the caveat, took it as okay. By saying this and not offering the alternative, you're implying that that's the best way. And there are different ways for different people.
No, I think that person's reading into it too much, and they're choosing to make that connection.
It probably came off. I don't remember the exact context. It may have come off of like of somebody saying like, "Wow, what a good dad" or something like that. So it may have come off of like you said it, then somebody else kind of seconded it, and so like it felt that way.
Okay.
As two people who you and I were hurt by some poor phrasing within the last 2 weeks, like phrasing matters.
Well, phrasing matters in the context of what's being talked about, right? Because it's like if I'm just having a casual chat, like if I have to sit here and overanalyze every single word that I'm going to possibly say and how every individual human being could potentially interpret that, like that's where you see organizations that are very large take a lot of time to properly phrase out their personal statement.
Right,
But
it's why localization takes so long. It's one of the many reasons we don't have voice acting in every scene.
Correct.
Is because they say that they have like all of this feedback that happens after the story is written, and they're like, hey, could you say it a little bit differently? And they're like, we already recorded all the voices. And it's like, okay, we'll just put that in one of the non-voice scenes. And yeah, on the Asmund thing, like I noticed that one of the things he was doing is when he was commenting on how cool a mount was, at least from my perspective, it looked like he was not commenting on the people who were like jumping around on him. He was commenting on somebody who was running by. Because I think you're right. I think it did encourage
that people to like follow and jump and stuff. Yeah, because there were some really cool mounts that were following him around.
Yeah.
Right, because at the end of the day, like it's like the goal is like it comes down to context and intent. Like if I was actively sitting here going to say like, all right, I'm going to make a statement about these parents who raid. No, you can absolutely find the time to do so. But I've chosen, for me personally, not that other people have to make the same decision, that I wanted a large family. Me and my wife made that decision. And those all have different varying other choices that then get made from that, right? You know? It's like, you know, I could absolutely probably do a savage raid, but that's going to take, you know, like we have to look at like, okay, where are we going to put that? Where does that time come from? And right now, especially because they're all young, that becomes a different challenge. Like we were talking to some other parents about that. It's like, oh yeah, well, all your kids are potty trained and they put their shoes on by themselves. What are we going to do with that kind of time? That's going to be a point where it's like, man, maybe I am savage raiding now, because it's like I'm not sitting here constantly having to, you know, micromanage everything. Right now, the biggest concern we have is with Gabriel. Like he's just in that phase, and he's a runner. Like you leave the door cracked, you blink, and he's like 5 feet out of the house already. And it's like, geez, like, and then I'm like, who left the door open? You know, so there's going to be a point where it's like I don't have to. I'm not going to be so worried about having to drop everything I'm doing.
I do think that like Square Enix dedicating a full-time GM is likely a possibility. To make sure that they could literally be watching a stream and just grabbing people. Like,
oh yeah,
I'm not saying that happens.
They've watched streams.
They could.
They've banned people from.
They
streams,
watch streams.
You know,
they ban people. They ban people for things that happen on streams and don't necessarily wait for an in-game report. We don't know like exactly how that stuff rolls out, but we've seen people banned for stream behavior before.
Yeah, Luke.
So, like, it would not shock me at all if they dedicated something, because that's a lot of people's first impression of Final Fantasy XIV.
Yeah.
Or second impression, or the impression that's going. They're like, hey, I've been on the fence for a long time. I think I'll watch this today and make up my mind. And so, because of the visibility, like, hey, in one go, you can watch the way 200,000 people behave within the context of this game.
Yeah.
That absolutely seems worth a full-time employee.
Yeah. Oh, the benefit
100%.
to them is, you know, guys, like, this is what's happening. It's kind of nice that he was able to put it, like, the downside is that instead of him just all of a sudden streaming it and playing, people, oh my god, you know, people were ready on both sides.
And that GM's whole month salary, if they need to hire another GM, you know, because they're like, hey, we got a lot of WoW people coming over, let's just staff up a little between now and Endwalker.
Yeah. That
is paid for by the visibility of all these WoW people coming over.
How nuts would it be if they added Asmongold to that Black Chocobo promotion?
It would piss a lot of people off. It would piss a lot of people off. There were a lot of different things that people didn't like about that event. The thing they had in common was that they didn't like the way it was rolled out, but there were a lot of people who what they wanted was a bunch of different things. They just all were in agreement that it could have been done better. Yeah. And extending the list is something that they would need to do very, very carefully.
Yeah.
They're honestly better off just keeping their mouth shut and letting
it exactly
other press
where it
cover
is.
it up.
Keeping it exactly where it's at. Not even touching it.
Let's just forget about it and move on. Don't try to fix it. Just move on. They decided not to make a statement, so just leave it that way. So there were a lot of issues that picking Asmon would not help. There were a lot of versions of that list that I could draft up where you and I were not on it.
Yeah.
And
which is true because we're not.
List,
yeah.
Which for those particular versions of the list, putting Asmon on it would not be better.
That's just the troll in me. That's just like, oh my gosh. Talk about a meltdown. And then Luke says, yeah, when their twins start randomly waking up in the middle of the night, maybe they'll do some Savage. Yeah, I think that's a good idea. That's a good time. Whenever like you could put a kid somewhere and then they stay there, yeah.
Unfortunately, Brian has an agreement with Google where he has to have a new kid to start a new channel every time, and so he just has to keep having more kids to start more YouTube channels. It's a weird monetization thing.
I know.
There's like, well, you can have another channel, but you can't monetize it unless you have another kid.
And it's like, sorry, Julie, I had a new idea for a new channel. Damn it.
Why they didn't make it Twitch wide? Because I think that they wanted more control over it than that.
Interestingly enough, so right, because it's like, you know, the drop.
Right, because that stops somebody from just going into the directory and then bad mouthing the game.
Yeah.
And not even really playing it, and then that going out. Right.
It's a really interesting promotion, and then especially time for 14 right now, because it's like it is topping charts, and the thing that's helping that out, guys, is y'all. So don't underestimate y'all's power for watching like streams and engaging in content, because that's what communicates to content creators that it's okay to talk about the game, and then and the more that happens, that the more people will check out the game. It's just this mathematical function of the way the world works. Pastulins get on
Twitch drops which are on category wide are normally done by view time. Oh, that's interesting. So like you have to so I haven't done that many Twitch drop events because I don't play some of the games that are known for Twitch drop events. How does that work? So if you watch a certain number of hours of that content creator in that directory, you get it. So there's no money exchanging hands. It's not a sales pitch, right?
Well, they on Destiny it was a gift. They did a gifted sub thing. It wasn't just
so like Warframe. You watch an hour, you get a reward. Okay, and then they can just go through and make sure that people that are getting a ton of watch time are actually playing the game, and then they're all set.
Yeah. Yeah. So does something like that often? Yeah, I think that's only going to start heating up more and more, especially as YouTube just added the ability that you can only chat if you're subscribed, which is that free follow. God, I wish they would sync up that. It's so confusing. It's
That's interesting.
So it's like as YouTube steps up its game, as Facebook steps
It would
up
push
the
people
game,
into the directory.
It does.
Right?
It push people in the directory.
It says, hey, like, I'm going to find somebody here that I like enough to stick around for an hour. And, like, in many ways, as a creator, especially when people talk about, like, how come they didn't support smaller creators or more diverse creators that maybe they didn't have awareness of. And so historically, because they haven't had awareness of them, of course, this event also doesn't have awareness of them. This would have said, like, okay, well, people will go out and search for somebody that they can watch for that amount of time by all these new tags that Twitch has been rolling out.
Yeah.
And then we can go look at some of these statistic sites at who's getting the watch time looking back on this 2-month window, and that can give us an indication of where the community is interested, because watch time is just as informative as concurrence and followers and all these things. Like, each one is just a single data point.
Yeah. Now, generally, companies that don't really have like too much insight, they're still like trying to figure out content creation and what it means for them, tend to just go off the numbers. So it's still like the fact that, like, if you guys hit subscribe, if you guys hit follow, like, interestingly enough, that for I probably would say 20 or 30% of the industry is what they measure. They don't even care about engagement, watch time, the fact, like,
don't get me wrong. If somebody reached out to Work to Game and says, because you guys have almost 70,000 subscribers, we want to sponsor you, I'm not going to correct them. But, like, if you want to get bang for your buck, if any of you work in or around an industry where you're deciding to get in with micro-influencers or whatever you want to call these kind of like smaller campaigns where you're going and targeting, under 100,000 people at a give and take, and you're taking a lot of swings on a platform in one go.
Yeah.
Subscriber count, follower count, on its own is one of all of the metrics. They all give a different viewpoint of a community. That is one of the least informative of how well your marketing dollars are being spent.
Yeah.
Like, it just isn't a good indicator. It just isn't. It's just not.
The Twitch setup stream is confusing. Too much tabs. Yeah. The dashboard's gotten better over the years, but I would say, like, it's interesting. Like, if you're getting started and you're not, like, licensed to where, like, partnered agreement or whatever, where you can't, like, multi-stream every time. YouTube has the benefit of that the streams, like, just live, but they could technically hurt your channel, so you just got to be very careful. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. Like, YouTube's really weird at it. Like, sometimes it's like, oh, you streamed. And
you don't think you've looked... So you don't think you've ever looked at the Twitch dashboard. So the Twitch dashboard's a weird thing. Like, I don't know how Asmon uses it, because, like, he was referencing his sub numbers and stuff in real time. So he's obviously got another monitor showing that stuff. So I don't know how people use that. Oh, gosh. Now, how long did Asmon say he was going to play the game? 2 weeks?
I don't know. Like, I think he said he won beat it. Like, he won and he thought it was 100 hours. I was like, I don't know, man. Like, I'm hearing.
He said he was willing to play off
stream.
stream, so his total play time was willing to be augmented. So it's not just limited to his stream hours. He's going to be ultimate in 1 month.
I'm hearing.
One calendar month, that is possible, but, like, number of hours, that's going to be alarming.
Yeah.
If he means step in with the goal of beating 1 month from when he started. So first he said 2 weeks, then he said till he beats it.
And how Twitch is, like, I'm going to put up Party Finder and we'll just kind of catch up on chat. Party Finder.
Clearing Ultimate would be epic.
Dude.
Now, to clear Ultimate, he just needs to be above the level for that range, right? He doesn't have to clear 5 to 555 to get into Ultimates.
Party Finder's up, guys, if y'all want to join in. On Aether Data Center. That's only a requirement, and at some point maybe that might not be the requirement, which will be nice, but we'll see. But yeah, one of the things that is interesting about, like, YouTube versus Twitch is that Twitch, like, you have, like, different badges. Like, it rewards you for just watching, right? Like, you have channel points and things like that. YouTube is slowly, I guess, still figuring it out. Just the fact that they added sub-only chat is a huge plus. Keeps a lot of people from coming in and just dropping, they could still hit subscribe, say something awful, and unsubscribe and go. But, like, it's still nice that, that's just there now as a nice little kind of, just a little safety net, a little protection against people who just want to, like, talk shade. But then yeah, like I think what Mixer had it right. Like, it had this personal channel level. Like, if you're just like I have no insight to like somebody who's like, you know, like, yeah, I watch all your videos. Like, yeah, maybe you do, maybe you don't. Like, and honestly, like, thank you, like, for just watching one video. But like, it would be really cool to see some kind of like, I don't know, some
money. Second place.
Some behind the scenes, just like, oh, okay, yeah. Then they've started it with it, so I see like little badges. Like, if I like enough of your comments, like I'll have a little heart next to your name, like in the dashboard on YouTube. But like here on live chat, I don't see those badges here. So, and then it would be really cool if like y'all chatting and having that interaction, like ultimately is like it all comes down to like me making notes and me remembering Lucky and me remembering Luke and me remembering Lamp. I know Lamp also from our Discord and even on Twitch. So it's like, and sometimes your Twitch name and your YouTube name are different, and then your Discord name. So that becomes a real, you know, Venn diagram of, you know, who is this person?
I mean, he definitely no life schemes pretty hard. Him and Rich talk about like the desire for when they really like a game, doing these like 15 and 20 hour streams. This idea, they don't want to put it down. So like they have that ability that like I haven't had since college. Like I still have to. There's very rare exceptions like launch events for MMOs. I can do that, but like I can't do that on a daily basis. My streams are 6 hours. Like I am weak compared to them. So they definitely have that ability to grind it really, really hard.
Yeah.
So like, especially if he had, you know, people lined up to go do it, like 7 people who knew that, and they were going to clear it like Scott Zone, where if he died, they wiped it up, but they all had cleared Ultimate. He could absolutely get it clear. Oh, I am okay. Unable to receive all company seals. I can fix that.
That is a easily fixable solution.
So, I'd get more streamers if I stream more on nights and weekends. I would also get less time with my wife. Yep. Those things are both true. I stream during work hours, and for the work hours that I'm not streaming, I am editing or working on videos behind the scenes, or lining up things for stream, or making thumbnails, or so like
you got to have balance. Like you can't.
I am attempting to do a work week now. Much like any small business owner, my work week very much extends past 40 hours most week, but it is set my own hours. And so if my wife wants to take a walk at 5, I try to be available for that as many days as possible. Yeah. And yeah, I've seen that people are being banned for harassing Asmon. Unfortunately, anybody else that's getting any lesser form of harassment doesn't always have that same thing. But like, I have not seen anybody get the level of in-game attention that he's getting. Like it's ridiculous. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's ridiculous.
And I would say, like, from watching, like, people say Asmon's toxic. I haven't really seen too much of that personality. His Zach person is also like very insightful, and especially in terms of game design. But more than I think people tend to equate people in his chat as like all this all-encompassing of who he is. And honestly, it's just people, like, when you have numbers that big,
of his chat.
It's literally like people try to say the worst thing possible because that's what gets attention. And I was talking with Tyler about it, and he's like, yeah, you just kind of have to start to train yourself to ignore that. Like, if you start engaging with that feeds them. That's what they want. They want that attention. And that's where it's like, you got to sit here and be like, all right, ignore. And then you call somebody out who's being respectful and being polite, even if they're saying a point that disagrees with you. But it's like, you don't reward the people who are saying awful things.
It's his community. There's 200,000 people watching him.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah,
and I tend to play.
He individually had a person at the door following his strict orders on who to let in of the 200,000 people. That is what people say. I don't know. His chat's been really supportive of all this. All of the things that people were hypothesizing, all they had to do to prove them not true was just be reasonable, and they've been really reasonable.
Yeah. And it's like, that's where it's like, Chris and I were like, somebody was saying, I was like, oh yeah, maybe he'll have 50,000. I was like, no, he's going to have clearly over 100. And then that doubled my number. I was like, I knew he was going to be over 100,000. I was thinking like 120, and I could show up and people are like, sure. I saw him at 237,000. I was like, that's amazing.
Yep.
That's amazing.
I had a
more
great
of that.
time. I was bummed that I had other things planned for the weekend that I had to go do.
I was not, because I took the kids.
Because I would
to the
love to
pool.
sit there.
I took the kids to the pool. We had the best day ever. It was fun to come back.
I
And be
just
like,
would have loved
what
for it
happened?
to fall on a day that I didn't have other priorities.
Oh, yeah.
Like, because I let my other priorities fall where they needed to.
You have to.
And so I
You
did
have
not
to.
get to stay in there the whole time. I would have loved for it to have been a day that I didn't have anything else going on.
Yeah, I think that's more important. And it's one of the things, like, yeah, like we could get more viewers by doing like weekends and stuff like that, but we gotta have a balance. Like, the name is work to game. You know, it's like, oh man, I think that's the fastest way to run. Like, that's where it's like when people are like, I played this game and only this game and nothing more, and then when they post a video like, oh, I'm leaving 14, I'm not surprised. Like, that is not like a statement that's like, what? Like, you mean you played this game for, 12 hours a day for 7 days a week for 2 years straight? You've done everything and then you're mad at the game? It's like, I don't know, man. Look in the mirror.
There we go.
What tweet?
But I enjoyed his Stasha Clear. I hope he streams a lot of it, but he doesn't have to stream all of it. It'd be great if he'd stream all the dungeons.
Oh,
that was really fun.
the employee of Blizzard that basically called him an asshole. Oh yeah, like, who cares? Like, he doesn't care. He's an adult, like he says he is one. The problem with that tweet is he wins, right?
It looks really bad on behalf of Blizzard, which is probably why the guy's taken it down and made his profile private. Is I assume HR shot an email that said,
what are you doing?
You choose to identify with a check mark as somebody who's a lead
At Blizzard.
product manager at Blizzard.
Yeah.
Act like it, or take it private. Like, those are your options.
Yeah.
If you have an issue with either of those, we'd be happy to schedule a time for
Yeah.
you to come in and talk about some subject matter that you're really not going to like. Like, I don't know. I've worked in jobs where I'm public facing, and I'm responsible. And there are morality clauses in contracts that I've signed that say public facing, I'm not going to comment on certain things.
Yeah.
And as part of taking those jobs, they just say, hey, like, you carry weight, and if you're like, it's not going to look good for us. And so if you can't agree with those, why don't you come in and we'll talk about what your career prospects are moving forward, which is a really nice way of, considering the number of qualifications I have for the internal positions at those companies, is a really nice way of talking about at what point do we need to phase you into working for somebody different. Because if you can't handle it, like I literally was responsible for Delaware, Maryland, Virginia, West Virginia, DC. So I had a 5-state territory while I was in managing medical device sales. I mean, it looks really bad if I'm out there getting in bar fights, or if I'm out there, right?
Yeah,
Like, I agreed
exactly.
on that.
Yeah.
I agreed for that. And like, if I don't want that job, that's fine. But I think it's fair of them to say, hey, we're looking for somebody who can go into the public space and not immediately result to name calling. Like, I don't think that's an insane ask.
Yeah.
And like, if you'd name called in a little bit different context than retweeting somebody who's like self-proclaimed crap poster to Twitter, like has 220,000 tweets of making the world a slightly worse place. Like, maybe there's some context there where it's like, hey, the guy insulted my kids and my wife, and I said, you can be a real jerk. And they're like, okay, we stand by that. Like, yeah, you can be a real jerk. But that's not what happened. What happened is you hopped on somebody who was there to try to get a reaction.
Yeah.
And so it doesn't look good. It doesn't. Because like the Wendy's Twitter account has been like made headlines for memeing on people.
Yeah.
But it's memed on people that had it coming. Like the guy who tweeted at Wendy's when they said their burgers are never frozen. He goes, so you're just serving me like spoiled meat? Because you just ship it hot? And they tweeted back, maybe you haven't heard of refrigeration.
Well, the thing is that also, if you're going to be funny. Like, it's if you miss, like, trying.
Oh yeah, humor is really dangerous.
Yeah.
Yeah, it better be. Humor is one of the only forms of kind of like entertainment content creation that is not considered the thing that it is when it's not good.
Yeah.
Like, bad music is still music. A bad movie is still a movie. Bad TV is still TV. A bad YouTube video is still a YouTube video. But comedy is not considered comedy if it's bad.
Right.
So, Arch, thank you so much. I appreciate you guys putting out PSAs. For anybody here that thought, well, I'm just going to harass Asmongold into the ground, Square Enix has made it abundantly clear their stance on the matter. How about we don't harass anybody?
Yeah.
Like, how about we try that out? What if
They don't represent
that actually
14.
has a meme of a pastime of coming in and telling other communities that they're better than them, acts like it?
Yeah.
Like, that's crazy.
Yeah, I know.
But what if
I've been dealing
say we're the
with
adults in the
somebody,
room?
and it's just like I feel like they've got probably like a very thick skull. Like there's no way you can get through to them. You know, in that mindset, they're stuck in the 90s. They have no concept of what they're talking about, but they believe it with such fervency that they're willing to continue just to sit here and be just a bad egg. And it's like, dude, you're not winning points, man. You're hurting the game. You know, oh, I love the game.
Which
no, you don't.
When he's doing like a mount off or something, he has times in his streams where he's like inviting people to come do a mount off and all that.
Yeah.
And it's a community driven event, but that's very different than blocking somebody's ability. He literally couldn't queue into some zones to do his story because there were so many people waiting in the other area and said try again later. Like, he literally could not progress through the game because people were just waiting on the other end.
The failure state of clever is asshole, and I'm saying that I particularly like that.
So, and what's odd about it is, like, it's funny when it's once, right? When you're watching a newscast and somebody in the background has a funny sign, we all get a little bit of a chuckle out of it. When the one guy's like kid came like rolling into the back of his desk,
that was so
like,
funny.
we all die laughing. But the moment it moves from like one Naruto runner to constant over, like, it's a very fine threshold. You know, the yelling out at Keanu, so he yells back that you're beautiful. That's so funny, but by laughing at that, we do kind of say like, hey, I hope every event devolves into people shouting things that they think are funny at the stage. It's like, oh, is that really what we encouraged? Oops. That is not at all what I wanted. Yeah. So, and people were like, well, that person got to be funny, and I think mine's way funnier, so I want to do it too. Because, like, people are going to laugh at this.
Are they? I hope so.
Which that one guy isn't who was immortalized. Keanu's who was immortalized.
Yeah.
I don't want to get hit by that. I'm tired of turning into a tree.
Just make sure you're not attacking the vine, because you can't. It's resistant to physical.
I'm getting damage right now.
You sure?
Now I got a fountain 0. I was seeing the damage go up. I don't know. Who knows? Who can know?
Who knows these things?
I'm a chicken. So, I think if you need memes in Asmon's life, Rich is perfectly capable of delivering them.
Who's Rich? Sorry?
Rich Campbell. He's a I think I said this the other day and somebody confirmed it. He started as a shoutcaster for Blizzard type stuff.
Okay.
But he plays games. He runs Allcraft with Asmon. He's
I got you. I know what you're talking about. Sorry.
And he's been in 14 for a while now, but like obviously with this weekend, you know, he's got
people were saying Con
10 or
Carnage
12,000 people watching him.
Was also streaming 14. And I didn't know who Con Carnage was or is really honestly, but I was like, oh cool. If people were like Con Carnage was streaming, I was like,
oh gosh,
good. As a point of reference, good to know. Rich played Final Fantasy XI also. That's really cool to know. Yeah, 11 is
I can't
great.
This. I don't know what I'm doing. And then I don't know that many variety streamers, because usually I'm sitting in streams to watch a specific game. And so I have trouble catching variety streamers because they're a bit of moving targets. And so like 14 is what got me introduced to Jesse Cox, even though Jesse Cox is like an OG Twitch streamer, just because like I tend to be a bit of a variety streamer dodger.
Yeah. Well, most people are.
I mean, it's
like,
why getting into variety streaming is so hard, is because huge
yeah.
portions of the community just miss you.
And that's one of the things that's so unique to Asmon in this regards, is that, yes, WoW has been at the top of this directory for so long, but that's been on the back of a couple of really big WoW streamers. And you see that the fact that they're playing another game and people are actually going and watching them play another game. You know, and that's awesome. And the fact that you guys watch Chris stream Guild Wars 2 and Phantasy Star, like we can't thank you guys enough. That's huge for us. And
so what's the one-time stream thing going on Jesse Cox? So back in the day, you used to be able to have one-time subscriptions available on Twitch. The only person who still has that active is Jesse. And if he disables it, he can't get it back. And so he is the only person on the platform with a one-time sub still available. Now that means he also opts out of things like gifted subs, because you cannot gift a sub to Jesse Cox. So he is a one-time subscription. So if you want the best bang for your buck on your Prime sub, go give your Prime sub 1 month to Jesse Cox, and then you are sub to him for the rest of the time. Yeah. So, but it does mean when he got included in like a gifted sub campaign, they had to pull him off the list because you literally cannot gift a subscription to Jesse Cox.
Yeah.
Incentive or not, there just is not a way to do it. And that's part of what showed that whoever made that list wasn't aware of the platform. So when people said like, oh, well, it's just Twitch that made that list, Twitch is very well aware
of
what Jesse Cox works. But Prime works, yes. Because Prime's just a way of paying. I believe Prime works. I see Prime all the time. But maybe that's just in my head. But I believe Prime works. I purchased my sub with Jesse, so I don't know.
Just to watch you play Tiddlywinks. Yeah, it's a lot of work in that regards. And no, not Rich from Review Tech USA. Rich from the Allcraft podcast.
Steel Rain, that stuff's really hard to gauge. There's been a lot of talk lately about the Fat Black Chocobo event and about kind of things like Asmongold coming over to 14 on estimating income. There's a website called Social Blade where you can go get a rough prediction of what people make, and I can tell you it is not accurate.
Oh yeah.
From both mine and other people that have chosen to show me their financial data, I can tell you it's not anywhere in the ballpark. People can be making less than that. People can be making more than that. It's an estimate, but like when you cross, it's estimated to be somewhere between 600 and 1,000 non-prime, non-gifted subs on Twitch. You start to move into a tier of people that they consider like worth negotiating with, and that rate can get a lot better for the content creator.
Yeah.
But like that's all speculation because anybody that's agreed to one of those rates can't disclose it. So it's inherently under NDA. So it just doesn't. So it's super, super loose. So like it's definitely important to note that like it's way more than most people. But like that number literally could be double that or half that. Like it is that big of a range. Social Blade uses average ad rates across the entire platform that they never update. Gaming Kinda, my personal YouTube channel,
crushes
if you type !Chris, makes almost twice as much per view as Work to Game, our primary channel.
And way more than Ginger Prime.
I don't know why. I didn't pick it.
No.
Don't get me wrong. I would pick it. Yeah, I'm going to take the double. I'm going to take the double. Can I get more than the double rate?
Double rate? Double rate? Yeah.
Yeah. So I thought about it, and I think I'm going to opt into that double rate. Like, I don't know. Somehow the algorithm just categorized it for a better tier of ads. I just leave it.
I think there's something behind the scenes that's on Ginger Prime that's thinking that I'm a kids channel because somebody's like, I had to unsub and resub to you because it was saying I couldn't I couldn't hit the notification bell because it said I can't do that for kids channel, and I reported that to YouTube, and they're like, you're not a kids channel. I was like, well, that's great. Why is somebody telling me I am?
At one point, Gaming Kinda got categorized so trusted that I was no longer having to select if I was ad friendly prior to posting. I've gone back to having to do it.
I've never.
But there was a
seen
point where that screen went away on Gaming Kinda. I don't know what drove that. To put it in perspective, guys, Gaming Kinda has like just under 7,000 subscribers. We're not talking about a massive channel here. And I was trusted to be ad friendly every time I just hit publish. Like usually it asks you, there's a big dialog box that says, are you sure you're ad friendly?
Yeah.
And like literally the box went away. They're like, no, you're good.
Yeah.
We got you in double rate. You're good. Double rate's great.
Double rate.
I have no idea why. We're not talking about a huge number.
Yeah.
We have had friends who have channels that are smaller than ours that have access to tools on the back end that we don't have access to at 60,000+ subscribers in 5 years on the platform.
We just got clips on Work to Game, by the way. Little scissors. So guys, clip videos. Send us your clips. What you like?
Like we still don't have cheering. So like YouTube just rolls out things in a way that makes sense to them on the back end, and then does not tell you what the rules are. They're like, hey, we made a choice. And like, oh yeah?
Okay.
What's the choice? Well, I can't tell you.
Yeah, YouTube. It's a mystery.
Okay. So like, should I Should I change what I'm behaving? If you think you should change. Well, but like, am I doing it right? I don't know. Are you? I don't know.
Chat saying somebody on YouTube thinks you're cute, Chris. That's why. You know, I flirted my way to an A in biology in college, and it was I don't know, like it was we did this. I was partnered with this she was a great girl, and we were partnered, and literally she like her lab notes and my lab notes, like my lab notes looked like garbage. And the I guess whoever was the tech or whatever, like I got an A and she got a C, and we literally did the same work and turned it in. And, you know, I thought her handwriting was far better written than mine, and yeah, I got the A because you get a little wink for the teach. So that's why you got double rate. You got that smile rate. Hilly, hijinks.
I'm not saying
so
the
much.
Black Chocobo event rolled out like this, but there are times that an event like that is that partnered with a brand and a streamer, where the streamer has to give up a portion of it. So like Square Enix would have gotten a portion of those subs, and so that would have lowered the split. Now, as a creator, you would still agree to it because the sheer number of subs is way more than gonna make up for it. Yeah. But like it's literally that inconsistent. Like there are sometimes other people like it is.
Hello, Brian and Chris. Do you want to share?
Like, okay, so what is it? Yeah. How much is the value of a view? And you're like, oh, 1,000 views is exactly $2 in all cases. Not even in the ballpark.
Yeah. Oh, hey, Brian and Chris. Square Enix wants to do the Twitch partnership with you. Are you okay with taking 50% cut, like, you know, half of what you normally get? Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Done. When does it start? You can't tell anybody until the first next month. Done. Done. Like, no problem. It'd be so easy to agree to. Oh, you mean you want me to help promote this game I'm already promoting?
Hey, Brian and Chris.
So what do I have to do?
We want to do this
nothing?
for free.
Cool. Yeah.
Would you take nothing and just take free and just be on the list? Yes. Yeah. Just
my wife's off work today, so we're probably gonna like go to lunch after stream, and if the place we're going to lunch wants to pay for my meal instead of me, I will also agree to that. Done. Hands down. Oh my gosh, I got frozen again. I didn't turn away from the eyeball. Done. So I'm looking forward to seeing what Ko thinks. I didn't know who Ko was, but like it's a great way to meet people. Like these platforms are so big, it's easy to not know people. It's easy to not know who people are. Like that's
I'm so thrilled that Square Enix is doing that promotion with Twitch. Like that's what I said in the video, and I stand by it. Like the fact that they're starting to do those kind of things is amazing. It is great for the game. It's great for the content creators. It's great for players. It just everybody wins. And the only downside was, you know, I think people generally agree that, you know, like okay, like great event, guys. Let's, you know, like noodle that around a little bit and, you know, and go.
One of the things I really like about when I'm consuming WoW content is that if I don't like somebody's attitude or I don't understand the way they're phrasing things or they're not streaming in a time slot that I want to watch, I can just pick somebody different. Like it's so nice to have that variety where like you're not watching somebody because they're the only person covering something. Right. You're like, no. Now it's not nice for that person, but like it's as a viewer, it's really nice to have this like huge sense of variety. And the key to variety, not inherently by its very nature, means there's going to be ones that aren't for you. Yeah, that's okay because it means there are going to be ones that are. And so, like inviting in some of WoW's variety does mean that I'm inviting in people who are not for me. Right, and that's fine. Come on in.
Come on in.
Come on in.
Thanks, guys, for the 96 likes. Got the party finder open again. So if anyone wants to jump in, we can get maybe 1 or 2 more runs. And then are we going to film some videos or 2, or do we just want to keep playing?
Yeah, I figured we'd film it too.
Cool, perfect.
I'm going to go to lunch with my wife at 3.
Perfect.
On her day off while she's fixing her refrigerator.
That's perfect. Let's fix that fridge. What's up, Fernando?
And I'm having a phenomenal day, but I'll try to keep that to a minimum. How was your day? It was good. We don't have to talk about it because I know that you have chosen to fix our fridge for us, and thank you. My day was good. We can talk about it later in the week. We've also had good days.
You're not going to drop the, like, well, we had, 1,200 people watching us on Twitch.
Throw it in her face. Yeah, I was sitting down, drinking water, having some coffee, playing some games, hanging out with people.
So who's Con Carnage, by the way?
It was really fun, though.
People have been saying, like, he's been streaming. Like, I don't think Carnage. COHH Carnage.
Variety streamer. That's what we were talking about when I was saying I don't know who all the variety is.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
But like people were saying that he was streaming as well. I was like, I guess he's pretty large. Variety is probably the hardest category of content creation in that regards. I tend to stick with like MMOs, multiplayer games.
I will say for the people that succeed at it, it's the highest paying because you throw into the mix like the ability for companies to pay you to come over. Because like a 14 streamer playing non-14 doesn't have as much, like it's like, oh, well, are you going to be able to deliver the numbers you normally do? And I'm like, I don't know, we'll find out. As opposed to like a variety streamer's like, yeah, I played 27 games in the last 27 days and they all have the same viewership number. Mm-hmm. So yes, I can play your game and people will show up. So that's a lot more. So if there's a game they're really interested in and they want to reach out and see if they can get paid to play a game they're already going to play, that's a lot easier.
10K on Variety. That's amazing.
That's epic. It's epic.
That's
Lyric
amazing.
used to be like that. Is Lyric still around? I feel like Lyric used to always be that big. And then Man vs. Game used to have big numbers back in the day for huge variety.
Thanks, Achilles.
If you guys ever watched Man vs. Game.
Yeah,
cool.
yeah, and I would venture to bet some of that, like tomfoolery, was just like on free trial accounts, attempt counts, things like that. Because like I don't think anybody would want to risk like actual like getting banned. But that's the thing about the free trial. It's amazing. If you haven't done it, check the links in the description. It's incredible. Ricardo, thank you so much for that membership, dude. Joining in at the tier 2 level. And also Hildy, I said hi. Thanks again for that, but I appreciate you guys. What's up, Just Dusk? Oh, pop my wrist. All right, we're gonna try queuing again. Did you find her? There it is. Oh, Insta Pop. Loving the Insta Pop. Oh, that's your personal house? Oh, that's
I was showing my personal house. I was getting asked about what's going on in that room up there.
His goal is to transfer here to the next to the Work to Game house. At some point.
Somebody redecorated. Where'd the giant Namatsu go?
I don't know. I gave some people some permission to decorate because I don't. I have a house and I'm like, somebody please decorate my house. Chris came over and helped me hang some of the stuff here on the wall. So it's just not my skill. It's not my skill set. It's not my love language. Yeah, Jesse Cox, and he put out his video on that, which is great. I haven't heard of Dodger.
I wish I could produce videos at that quality.
You can, but you don't like it. You wouldn't like it. You'd be like, you want the result, but it's like, man, it's a lot of work, and it ends up being. And the thing what we found, guys, is that
I want to instantly get to that level of production. I don't want to do any of the work to get there.
Beyond getting to the work though, like we've just numerously a number of times found that the more work that we put into a video tends to be like, all right, not viewed. It's like, wow. Whew. So, I think and I'm just like, I'm just going to be as real and authentic as I can be, as opposed to like, I try to put a little bit more production than you do, but at the end of the day, it's like, I think people just, they like the content, and that's great. And we might add a little sub pop-up box on future Chris videos. Stay tuned. Sub to Gaming Kinda. You can always use the command Chris. If you guys are here on Twitch and YouTube, if you don't follow Chris over at Gaming Kinda, please do so. He's coming up. I think you're gonna hit 10K this year, man. I think your YouTube's gonna be at 10K, which is gonna be awesome. You can send clips to Fiverr to have it done. I heard they are cheap. What? Like in terms of like editing or something like that?
Well, the bigger issue is that I don't just want to make one video a month. I want to make a lot of videos. And it's hard to care too much about any one video if you're already thinking about the next one. Yes, he spent like 4 or 5 weeks crafting that video.
Every editor that I've worked with has been awesome, and I would say I have a really awesome editor when I work with him. But from a cost perspective, like every video that I've worked with him on you know, I'm out like $200. So it's like, I usually save it for like a handful of videos that I hope will do well over the long run. But so far, I have not picked winners.
Free companies, guilds are world specific, but we have things called link shells, which are like chat channels, and we have cross-world link shells that are just data center specific. And so you can go to any world on the data center. So if you want to have like communities that get together and run things that are cross-world, you can do that through the cross-world link shell system. And you can be in several link shells. Oh, you can't do that from in here. So. Yep. We actually have 2 cross-world link shells, yeah.
Yeah.
Because we filled up the first one.
Yeah, because they're capped at 64. And it's like, oh man. Free companies like capped at 512, and it's like, man, I'd funnel people into that.
So we have 2.
They talked to us about alliances at some point in which that it's like you could free companies
People
could
who
alliance.
helped organize events, I made sure kind of overlapped a little bit in the second one, so that if there's an event being organized, they could mention it in both.
Yeah.
So if there's somebody that's like trying to step up and reaches out to us and like, hey, I've been trying to organize these cross-world link shell hunt parties in the work to game link shells.
Yeah.
We just put them in both. But so having a couple people with access to both, you can't have everybody get access to both, or the second one's just an identical list to the first one. So. And then we do have a free company as well, just as a landing page. But like we don't, there might be people that organize Savage in our free company, but Brian and I don't.
Yeah, we have Rock. He's the Final Fantasy XIV community manager for us. So it's basically like kind of his job to schedule events and things like that. And we did an event Friday where we're just kind of farmed up mounts for people. So you guys be sure if you're in the command Discord, we'll get you into the Discord. In fact, if you're also a Twitch sub, you get a special role within the Discord server. So be sure to have your Twitch and your Discord hooked up, linked, and then that will automatically apply to the channel itself as well. So that way, when you're chatting, you get a special role and color.
How many do you still need, Brian, after this?
After this will be 14, so I'll need 4 more of this.
Not a number. We're
We're not hitting that right now.
Okay.
But we're making progress.
I didn't know if you wanted to film after this.
I would like to. I would like to do our videos.
Like I just meant right after this run.
Yeah, especially if you want to get to lunch a little bit early. Maybe I'll just stay live and... Yeah. I don't know. I haven't decided yet. We'll see.
Aren't fates like 10 times faster? There's one step where this is required. I don't think you can do the fates.
Like you can get the items from the fates.
You can do, but
like
are fates faster? I feel like
people say it's 20%, so it all depends. This is guaranteed. This is a guaranteed drop.
But like, this has been good. I mean, it's been decent experience. It's not amazing experience. I was 62, and now I'm going to be 63 and a half. So like, it's not great. I don't even have food on. So I've been letting experience fall.
I don't think you get experience for the kills though, so the food wouldn't help. Yeah, the chat's confirming. Fate's very RNG heavy. I
will say, like, as far as interacting, one of the limitations of this game, just as like being on an old engine, is our instances actually put you on an instance server. And the instance server has different rules. So if you wonder why like your friends list and your link shells and stuff all work different when you're in dungeons, it's because your character was actually world visiting back before world visit was a thing.
Right.
You're transferred into that instance. It's why Eureka and Bosja zones expire. It's why you get kicked out when other people don't, is because one of the rules of the instance server is that you have a timer. And so they max that timer out for you, but it's still a timer. That's something that limits it. It's why I had hoped that they would use the world visit system instead of the instance system for Bosja, because the world visit system allows you to have like party finder and all these things that don't work on the instance server. And so there's all these tools that don't work when you're on an instance server that do work when you're on a normal world server. So it's just a limitation of the way the game was built. I mean, they had to decide years and years ago how the game needed to run today. Am I getting 0 damage on this? No, I'm doing damage. Okay.
Yeah, the physical resistance is on Sawtooth right now. So, Kite asked, do y'all think we're going to get cross data center LS once DC travel becomes a thing? I wouldn't bet on that right now just because of how they're making data center visit work. However, like at the end of the day, at some point, I think in the future, like, as the engines get upgraded, as they do more work on the game itself, I would like to, the more that they can bring in and bridge the community, the better. I think when we see the cross data center added, I think that's gonna be like when we talk about is 14 in a bubble right now, I think 14 has just begun in that regards. Like we're seeing more, we have got more good news and more things happening over the course of the next few months than ever before. But we also, like, Final Fantasy XIV has unique strengths that I don't know, I'm trying to target them, that they haven't fully taken advantage of. And the fact that it runs on PS4 and PS5, huge. Adding it to console, adding it to Xbox, right. Stadia, for another MMO to even do that, they would literally have to go back to the core of the game and figure it out. Go ahead, Chris. Sorry.
So PS4 is not what's actively holding the game back right now.
Right.
It's not. Remember that PS3 was supported for 4 years after PlayStation 4 dropped. So we've got a long way off. It will eventually be dropped, right? Just like eventually the specs will move up for PC. The low-end PC right now can do less than the PS4s. Yes, instant servers do allow load balancing as well. There is an aspect of that that's an advantage, and likely why they chose that. But what will happen, the question was what will happen when PS4 is dropped. So when the PS5 version is stable, which it's already stable, what they did last time, so PS5 has had a different rollout than PS4. It's been much, much harder to get a hold of a PS5 than it was a PS4. Not that PS4s weren't sold out, but because of COVID, getting new consoles in particular has been tough this time around. But what they did last time is there was a free upgrade path from your PS4 version to your PS5 version. Now, the PS4 and the PS5 version have had a different relationship than the PS3 and 4 did. They were much more separated, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
Right now, you can run the PS4 version on your PS5 just fine. So they gave us a 1-year upgrade during that. After that, to make the move, you would have had to, if you owned a PS3 copy of the game, you would have had to move to a PS4. So the logical time to do that is with an expansion where you're making the move anyway.
Yeah.
And so when they make that move, there will eventually likely be, so we're going into 6.0. 7.0 will likely have PS4 support. 8.0 will likely drop it with the launch of 8.0. And so you're looking just over 4 years out.
Michael
if
says,
I had to guess.
Yeah, and Michael says that PS3 wasn't a problem. Why'd they drop it? Because they increased the base PC specs. PC was holding back the game, and so they decided that they were going to raise the minimum required PC specs, and then that fell outside the range of PS3, which made sense. It's like, all right.
And then with that, they rolled out a bunch of new things that have all built towards PS5, where we've added things like Limsa, when you were out in Lenosha, used to look like it was melting if you viewed it in the distance, like an impressionist painting. And now it looks much crisper. And so, that's just an example. And so, they're able to do more things now. 48-man Savage to Libram is more taxing than I think likely a PS3 could have run.
Well, they decided to raise the base issues. It's not a technical problem. That phrasing isn't correct. Because there wasn't anything breaking. They decided that they can raise the minimum requirements, which they said they would do at the minimum because the game was always built off the PC backbone. But the game ran on a Core 2 Duo, and the PS3's processor was much better than that. So right now, the minimum spec for the game is still PC. It's not PS4. And so that's just one aspect of it. You would say, you could make an argument that because it supports controller and on console, that's somewhat holding the game back from whatever people envision for it. But I think that's actually a unique benefit of the game itself, and one of the reasons why it's continuing to grow.
The Mac version feels very different. The Mac version feels like a wrapper to me. I don't know that it is.
It's on Wine. It runs Wine.
It feels like it's a PC game being exported for Mac. For anybody that's ever been a Mac user, I have the Mac copy of Shadowbringers. My editing computer's a Mac, and so it doesn't.
I'm curious how the
game
runs on M1.
There are times that it feels good, and I'm really happy with it, and there are times that it doesn't, and I'm really not happy with it. That really bounces back and forth. Now, I have heard that the M1s run it really well. I don't have an M1 yet, so I'm looking to move to an M1 on my editing computer probably this fall. I want to wait and see if the fall hardware rollout discounts what I want to buy.
Yeah.
It probably won't, but like we're already late summer, so I'll just wait.
Now, when we talk about the technical requirements and the engine of the game, what's going to make that immediately apparent is when you guys see or go hands-on with New World. When you start playing that game and you see how visually impressive and immersive it is, you're going to go, holy crap, that's actually something that feels truly next generation in terms of, especially for what you get in an MMO. But ultimately, whether that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be a success. I'm just saying that when you look at the hardware requirements, you're like, holy crap.
Phil, that's what I want to get. I want to get an M1 Mac Mini. I'm waiting to see if they increase the RAM, the onboard RAM, because the problem with the M1 chip is the RAM is on board. There's no ability to upgrade it later. And so I'm waiting to see. I'm just accustomed to having a lot of RAM on my editing rig. I have a 2015 iMac right now that has 64 gig of RAM. So like I'm used to like beasting out on RAM. Now I understand the M1s are supposed to be more efficient about the way they run things, so I shouldn't need that much, but I just want to see what they're going to do.
Yeah, I got 64 gigs in my new PC.
I mean, this is my gaming rig and it only has 32, but it's 132 stick. So if I wanted to push to 64,
yeah,
I have 2 slots on my motherboard, so I could just put another.
Yeah.
But I am waiting to see what they announce. So the fall rollout, this computer can't wait. I can't wait an unlimited number of years. This computer is already starting to have problems. So like I can't just be like, oh, if it doesn't. So fall is traditionally when Mac rolls out a lot of hardware stuff. So I waited last fall. I was on the verge, and I decided to get one more year out of this computer. This fall announcement, I have to make a decision regardless. So if they don't roll anything out, I have to move forward with the best of what they have right now if I want to stay Mac.
Yeah, and I 100% agree. Michael says that it's not about graphics. Like, no, it's gameplay. Gameplay makes games. Graphics are nice.
You're probably right, though.
But they're not the be-all, end-all for any reason. But that's one of the things that is truly interesting about that the New World game, though, is that how absolutely immersive it becomes. Like, I like the gameplay, so it's like, yeah, this is great. I like player-driven economy games. I'm excited.
How old's my PC? November. Not even a year. My gaming PC is very new. It's my first time having one. I had PC laptops when I was in part of college before I switched to Mac. And it's my first time ever having a desktop. My family had a desktop growing up, but this is my first desktop. My brothers have had many. This is my first one.
Jason with the sick burn, LOL Max.
and I built this as a streaming rig.
Yeah.
So it was built exclusively for streaming.
Well, so also for portability too.
I have a RTX 3080 graphics card in here, and I have 2 1080 monitors. And the guy at the store was like, "Why would you buy 1080 monitors?" I said, "Because all of my content's in 1080." He said, "Why?" And I said, "Because I broadcast in 1080. So like I want to see what you guys see, so that if there's something that doesn't look right, I know it right then and there." And so since I look at my game in 1080, there's no reason to have better than, like, why would I spend money on a monitor to view a higher resolution than I'm going to look at the game in, and I'm not going to render the game in something I can't broadcast or record.
I'm sure the Square Enix support right now is probably a little bit inundated. I don't know if Asmon's playing today or if he's live, but regardless, note that, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they added a full-time employee just to this whole event.
I mean, they likely already have one for all this WoW stuff anyway, so like
Yeah.
I think it's just that person's job getting monopolized by Asmon. I don't see how a QA team is not at least aware or has internal policies of here's how we're going to deal with these large WoW streamers coming over, because they're going to have different issues than the traditional catch-all response.
No, he doesn't have a streaming Mac, Michael. He has a streaming gaming PC, runs Windows.
Well,
His Mac is
Yep.
his editing thing.
Yep. My streaming PC is exclusively, like, this is my first Windows PC, and it was for streaming, because there are a lot of tools for streaming that don't run on Mac.
Yeah.
Streamlabs, OBS, and a lot of that stuff, like a lot of these applications don't run on Mac. And in the past, Work to Game had been invited to play in some early access to games, and Brian had been too busy at the time to sometimes say yes, and I didn't have access to a PC, and so I had to say no, Brian had to say no, and so effectively Work to Game had to pass on it. Being the full-time member of Work to Game, it doesn't make any sense that we would get offered to have early access to a game that we both want to play, and that we both have to say no. Like, that doesn't make any sense. At least one of us should be saying yes. At least one of us. Because I was offered early access to games. I don't traditionally opt into early access for games, and I was offered early access to games I did want to play. And I did want early access to, and I had to say no because they were like, hey, the game's going to be supported on Mac, the game's going to be supported on Xbox or whatever, but the early access client exclusively runs on PC because it's not uncommon for early access to not be cross-platform. And so it's like, oh, well, I'll take a free game code, but I can't hop in till day one.
That's what he did.
Right.
He built his own computer. Yeah, let me go turn this stuff in.
I built this.
And I'll fire up Zoom. Yeah, and he also built it for portability too, because you're like, well, if I go, like, because you might be going and living in another country for a little bit.
Yep.
And you're like, well, it'd be nice to be like, let's go, as opposed to like, oh, I need all these things. It's like, yeah,
right.
You do need.
So I built a mini ITX. So my computer is probably twice the size of an Xbox Series X. As something that I've seen at friends' houses that's one of the current gen. So it's But I can tell you right now, I've tested it to verify that it did what I wanted it to do.
Yeah.
And this case, with all my peripherals, my cords, my microphone, my camera, can all go into a carry-on suitcase. All of it fits. Everything fits.
Yeah.
I did not go with a pre-built. What I did is I continued to try to buy a graphics card, and once I got a graphics card, I ordered everything else. What country? Moving to... No, not the country. A country. We looked at possibly going and living with my sister for a time, and she lives in Romania. How did I get my video card? I did not overpay. I got lucky.
You got lucky.
I had a friend that had access to one, and I bought it from them at regular retail.
Cool. Let's go raid work the game on Twitch, guys. I'm gonna actually end the stream while we do our recording, and I'll see if I can also work up a couple videos and stuff that are on my playlist of things that I'm hoping to talk about, make, and and more. Thanks, guys, for being here over on the YouTubes. Just drop the link in chat. Be sure to click on that, and if you haven't followed over on Twitch, be there, because that's where we're gonna be for the rest of the day. And then Chris is gonna go have a lunch with his wife, which is great. So thanks, guys, for hanging out. Appreciate it. Thanks for all the support, and bye.